be a champion. Rarely faltering, he's been the man to beat from April on. Only one other can affect the outcome. Gritty Danny Johnson has hung on with important victories and stands in Payne's path. Middletown will decide it all. An unforgiving track. It gives no quarter. Danny has mastered it, but needs a victory. Steve must escape misfortune. It'll be 3:58 at a dozen paces. Today, Mr. Dirt will be crowned. Lap leather. It's the CarQuest Auto Parts 150. And it's next on Rush Hour.
For a century, they have come, driven by the adventure, thirsty with speed, hungry for victory. First, with family funds, now with corporate logos. Much has changed. Still, they come, ever into the unknown. Sometimes a stairway to heaven, sometimes a highway to hell. And still, they come. They are dirt trekkers, America's racers, touching many hearts, sharing the adventure. Buckle up. Rush Hour on Dirt.
It's late in the season, and once again, all the hard summer labor comes down to the final few miles, the final few laps. The 1999 Mr. Dirt Championship is as high in prestige as any other at one of the toughest tracks on dirt. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eric Thomas, along with Gary Montgomery. Gary, this track, this particular Eastern States weekend is a very rich and long racing history.
Long indeed, Eric. This racetrack was actually established back in 1857, 142 years ago, first for horses. Then in 1919, they had their first auto race. From 1919 through 1948, a various series of open cockpit cars, midgets, sprint cars, championship cars, we called them back then. And then in 1949, the first stock car race, and that's been the major agenda item ever since. In fact, they had a big 50th anniversary party here earlier this summer. This weekend, the 38th annual Eastern States 200, so a long history there as well. This particular race, the 22nd annual running of the 358 Championship. So a lot of history here at the Orange County Fair Speedway for 1999.
Big history and a lot going on this weekend, because this event this afternoon will decide the 1999 358 Mr. Dirt Championship.
That's right. It's been a very long season for these 358 teams. It'll all be over here this afternoon. They accumulate points three ways. Their home track, then the Advanced Auto Parts Super Dirt Series, and then finally there's a 9-race series for the Mr. Dirt title. This is the 9th of that series. So they add the points up from the home track, the Super Dirt Series, and Mr. Dirt Series, and crown a Mr. Dirt. We'll crown that champion here this afternoon.
For more on our point situation, here's our own cowboy, Paul Small.
And the high point man coming into this afternoon's CarQuest 150 is the Hurricane Steve Payne and the Yellowbird number 7X machine. Steve, basically all you have to do today is finish this race in one piece, and you get your first Mr. Dirt 358 championship. That's going to be quite an accomplishment for you.
Yeah, it's been a real good year. You know, we saw this race coming. We knew Dan was going to be good here, and all we had to do was finish 12th or better at Fonda last week to come in here and take the green and win the points, and that's what we did, and we should be able to race for the win here today.
You've had a love affair all this year and into last year with these TL Pro cars. Tell me, why do you love these cars so much?
I really don't know. You know, we just work well with Bobby Hearn and Jerry Higbee and Brett, and the cars they suit me and I suit them, I guess, and we've had a real good season.
Now, you're a racer's racer. You want to finish this race, but I think you probably want to go out on a winning note today.
Well, that'd be nice, you know, but there's a lot of good cars here, and it's a long race. We're starting 15th, which wasn't so good, but, you know, we missed it by one spot in the time trials, but it's a long race, and anybody could win it.
Hurricane Steve Payne going for his first ever Mr. Dirt 358 title this afternoon, guys.
Anybody can win it. He'd love to do it. It's $20,000 for the track champion, or for the Mr. Dirt championship. And here's how he got his points. He was a Black Rock champion. He won or finished second in every race there this year. Then he was the champion for the Advanced Auto Parts Super Dirt Series, and then he leads coming into this one and wins at Cornwall and Brockville. So he's had a great year.
It's amazing how consistency plays into any kind of points championship in this sport you want to talk about, Gary, and Steve Payne was certainly consistent.
Here are our top 6 point earners so far, and again, this is after 8 of the 9 races, and they have the other points added in. Payne's on top by just 51 points over Danny Johnson. Pete McDowell, who's not here today, is 3rd in the standings. Patty O'Brien, a former champion, is 4th. Tim Heinle is an Orange County regular. He stands 5th in the standings. Dale Plank, the champion at Utica Rome this year, is 6th in the point standings. Again, that's after 8 of the 9 races. Here are 7 through 12. We got Pierre Dagenet. He's the promoter and champion at the Idlewild Speedway. Danny O'Brien, Brett Hearn, the champion right here at Orange County in the 358 division this year. Last year's Mr. Dirt 358 champion. In fact, he's did it for the last 2 years in a row. That's Alan Johnson, Mike Perotti, and Jerry Higbee run out the top 12 point earners after 8 of the 9 races.
If you want simple arithmetic to clinch for Steve Payne, he must finish at least 16th. One guy who can stop Steve Payne's points aspirations is standing by with their own cowboy, Paul Small.
And that would be our pole sitter for today's CarQuest 150, Dr. J. Danny Johnson. Danny, you and this Orange County Fair Speedway get along like a house on fire. Why do you do so well here?
Well, it's really teamwork is what it is. I got, great confidence in my team here, and the cars is exceptionally well. And, we do have some past experience here, and it's hard to beat experience, and that's one thing working in our favor. And it's just we get to have everything working for us right now.
And you're gonna love where you're starting today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We had a little good luck, had a good time trial, and I just hope we can get this Sweden Plus team in the front there for the entire 150 laps. But, hope we get a good pit stop and just hang out to the end of the race and be in the front.
Now, Steve Payne is in the points lead, but this is by no means locked up. If you win this race and something happens to Steve, you could be the man at the end of the day.
Well, that would be nice, but he does have the driver's seat in that situation, and we'll just have to see how the cars fall on that situation.
Danny Johnson wants to be the man of the hour and the man of the season when this one is done today, guys.
Danny was the 1996 Mr. Dirt 358 champion, so he knows championships, and for him to qualify up front, that's a different deal. Danny doesn't usually qualify that well.
Well, Danny Johnson's got a shot to upset Steve Payne. Payne already had the Super Dirt Series crown coming into this event. He'd just love to make it back-to-back with the Mr. Dirt Championship. We've dodged some pretty lousy weather, but we're ready to go. The Dirt Motorsport family recognizes the contributions of the local CarQuest Auto Parts stores, their customers, and all dirt racing fans. Thank you for your continued support. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. And it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
In 100 years, you learn a lot about your customers. You learn that trends come and go, but the act of caring never changes. You learn that virtually everyone will stop to look at a baby. That we should treat customers not how we'd like to be treated, but how we wish people would treat our mothers. And that the best part of our lives can't be put into words. Eckerd, for 100 years.
Right there with you.
Introducing the first Suzuki ATV, available in your choice of manual or automatic transmission. The Quad Runner 500, an all-new Quad Master 500. The choice is yours. Buy a selected Quad Runner and get a super winch for just $49.95 and great financing.
Every Sunday, the game's at Gables. We've got the NFL ticket and the NHL ticket so you can enjoy the game on our 10-foot screen and 6 TVs giving you the sharpest picture around. There's lots of Molson's and free pizza at halftime. So remember, Sunday, the game's at Gables, 1285 Hurdle Ave. Every Monday, the music's at Gables, featuring Tom Sartori every Monday night at 11 p.m. Live Music Monday also features Bud and Bud Light. Tom Sartori at 11 every Monday at Gables, 1285 Hurdle Avenue.
When precision, quality, and speed count, depend on Craftsman. When you need the power of a wrench with the speed of a ratchet, reach for the Craftsman Quick Wrench. The Craftsman Quick Wrench's unique open-end design lets you ratchet around fasteners. There's no need to reposition. Every quick wrench is up to 30% longer than conventional wrenches. That means extra leverage, more torque, and extended reach for tight spaces. Like other Craftsman hand tools, the Quick Wrench is guaranteed forever. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Dodging the clouds, here we are. Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, and the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship live on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery. And standing by with our defending 358 Eastern States champion, Cowboy Paul Small.
Matter of fact, Eric, he's a two-time defending champion of this race, driving this beautiful number 21 machine, the winner of the Eckerd 300 at Syracuse in 1999, Kenny Tremont. Kenny, what is it about you in this race? You seem to click really well here.
Well, we've been really fortunate to have a good car and good crew, and the motors always seem to run real good. We just had a lot of luck in this race.
Now, we've been standing here during the commercial break. The sun's been shining, and at the same time, it's been raining. The weather has been very schizophrenic today. Does that unnerve you at all as a driver just moments before the start?
No, not really. I think once they get some parade laps in and, maybe get the first couple laps in it, the track will come in real good, and you'll never even know that it rained at all.
What was the key to the victory here the past 2 years, Kenny?
Well, I think a clean pit stop, getting in and out of the pits, not getting hung up, and, basically just staying out of trouble the whole race, too. But, you got to have luck in all these long-distance races, but a little bit of everything played in our hands, and, you got to have it all. If you're missing one ingredient, that's usually the thing that bites you.
So you think you could pull a hat trick today?
Well, it'd be nice. I certainly have the confidence to, so we'll just have to see how things go, but, I know that we're capable of it.
Kenny Tremont looking for his third consecutive CarQuest 150 victory this afternoon.
Well, he does have a great team, as he said. This car is owned by his cousin Dennis, and it always goes well wherever he races it, and we wish him well here this afternoon.
Big block win at Syracuse, the Super Dirt Series for Modified Championship, when he'd love to come in here and make it 3 in a row as far as winning this race this weekend. But the points will tell. You know, Gary, some of the great drivers have won this race and have won it more than once. If you remember, we've had Brett Hearn, certainly the most dominant, 10 career wins in this particular event, and 6 of them in the 358s.
That's right. And Danny Johnson has won it this particular race 3 times. He won it 96, 91, and 92. Payne, we talked about him earlier. His best finish here has been 4th. Tremont has won it 3 times the last 2 years in a row, and then he won it back in 1993 as well. Jeff Hetzler, a 2-time winner. Doug Hoffman has won it 4 times. Interestingly enough, neither Hetzler nor Hoffman have entered today. So it's an interesting story, and this is a lot of big names have won this 358 race.
And it seems that once you win one, it seems to fall into place that you win another one, and sometimes 3 in a row. You know, lots of great stories around this year's race. We've been talking about some of them. Here's another. Paul Small is ready with a young driver in a dream situation. Cowboy?
Most definitely. He's already locked up the Mr. Dirt Sportsman Championship for 1999, and he's on the outside pole for today's CarQuest 150. Chris Schultz, you got to be over the moon at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I never dreamed to be starting next side a legend like Danny Johnson, especially today. I'm just came here this week trying to get some lap time, get ready for the sportsman race tonight, which is really what I'm looking forward to. And here I wind up on the front row. But this TO Pro car's been going great all year, and just hopefully I can keep my luck rolling until the end.
Is there any intimidation involved? You're a sportsman racer in a field of 358s, and a lot of these guys are full-time professional racers.
Yeah, I'm giving up a lot of horsepower. It's just a sportsman motor with a 4-barrel strapped on it, and hopefully I can keep it up, and hopefully starting at the front in the beginning is one thing, but being there at the end is another.
What happens if you're there at the end, you will get a top 5 or maybe even win this thing? What's your reaction going to be to that?
Boy, what it would do for my career would be unbelievable. Last year's Eastern States victory was the biggest I've had so far this year, and it would be something else, but I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched.
That's Chris Schultz. He's got a big smile on his face. He's about to embark on a real adventure here this afternoon.
We often wonder where the new talent's coming from in dirt. Some of these guys are getting along in the tooth. You're looking at them right there.
Yeah.
That's a good face. There's a kid that's going somewhere, let me tell you. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship from the Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people. By Suzuki Motorcycles and ATVs. And by Eckerd. It's right at Eckerd.
A-Plus Mini Market, your 24-hour ticket to convenience.
Congratulations to Jim Cook of Rochester, New York. He took the ride of his life, and so did 4 of his friends. They won the dirt driving experience by registering at a participating A-Plus Mini Market.
Over 3,000 items. A-Plus Mini Market, 24-hour convenience. Your store, plus more.
Just released Dirt Sportswear
And our Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed is so relaxing.
It may even temporarily provide relief from my low back pain, Harry. Yet it costs up to 56% less than a quality flatbed.
I adjust my head and feet and fall right to sleep.
Call toll-free to get free information by mail about the Craftmatic Model 2 adjustable bed. This wonderful bed adjusts to hundreds of relaxing positions, offers optional warm, soothing heat, and relaxing built-in massage, yet costs up to 56% less than these quality flatbeds. Up to 56% less. Don't pay more to remain flat. Call toll-free and get complete free facts by mail about the adjustable bed that costs up to 56% less.
Call to get Craftmatic's free catalog right away. There's absolutely no obligation.
Call toll-free 1-800-248-7777. That's 1-800-248-7777 toll-free. 1-800-248-7777.
Fall sunshine, finding holes through the cloud cover. Welcome back, Orange County Fair, Speedway, Middletown, New York. CarQuest, Auto Parts, 358 Modified Eastern States Championship, live on Rush Hour. Eric Thomas, good to be back with Gary Montgomery and Cowboy Paul Small. The weather around here has been crazy. You can see some of these puddles that are pretty big around here, but right now the sun is shining. You saw some of the rain. In other words, it's raining in one corner and the sun is shining everywhere else, Gary. It's nuts around here.
It's incredible, and that's not good. We don't want any rain anywhere.
No, we do not. Weather conditions, talking about it. It's been, well, Paul Small said it best, schizophrenic. 53 degrees, 67% humidity forecast, mostly cloudy with rain on the fringe. We'll add that in here.
Don't care about the clouds, but we sure care about the rain.
Yeah, we do.
Our race analysis is 150 lapper. That's 93.75 miles. Somebody's got their calculator out. All the caution laps will count except the last three. Of course, we'll finish this race under green. There's $22,000 up for stakes here today. The winner's share, $7,500 plus a lot of contingency and lap money as well. There's a mandatory pit stop after lap 30. Our track description, it's 5/8 of a mile. Hard clay. The straightaways, front and back, they're both 660 feet. A little bit of banking in the corners. And you see it on the screen. Very, very little. Basically a flat racetrack.
Down to the track conditions with all this rain. What's the track look like down there, Cowboy?
Well, normally this track is called the hard clay for a very good reason, because it's usually very hard and very slick. But as you can see, you can actually dig into this racing surface here this afternoon. That's because every time this track has gotten to the point where it was going to get hard and slick, rain has come and has kept things softened up. So the drivers are playing a guessing game today. If rain comes during the course of the race, it may change the track conditions dramatically. They're going to have to be able to stay one step ahead of the weather, which nobody has been able to do today at all. This guy has been in step with dirt modified racing for several seasons, not only here at Orange County Fair Speedway, but also on the entire dirt circuit. Rich Polai from CarQuest Auto Parts Stores, you've got the immortal words for us.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Pretty darn close to 40 cars, 500 horsepower apiece, 358 cubic inches, maximum size engine displacement. They'll kick around this 5/8 mile Orange County Fair Speedway in mighty rapid fashion, you can be sure.
They will. And Chris Schultz said at the top of the show when he was talking to Paul about just strapping a 4-barrel on top of his Sportsman motor. Well, it's not quite that simple for most of these guys.
No.
But that is the basic difference between a Sportsman and a 358 modified, the 4-barrel carburetor. It's a box stock carburetor that they strap on top. But then when they do that, if they've done it right, they change the cam and they change a lot of other things. So a lot of horsepower. I think you were cutting them short a little bit. I think it's closer to 600 than 500 in these cars. But anyway,
well, it's somewhere between 5 and 6.
Line them up. You got it. Yeah.
650 CFM 4-barrel on top of these things, 2,450 pounds. The weight of the cars. Danny Johnson, 3-time winner. The doctor out of Rochester, New York, is on the point. And beside him in that Sportsman car that you mentioned, he is this track's Sportsman champion, Chris Schultz out of Liberty, New York.
Second row on the inside is another Sportsman driver, Scott Flammer, and Tim Fuller in the Bob Faust car number M1 is on the outside starting 4.
6-time winner, 14-time track champion here at Orange County. Brett the Corporate Jet Hearn out of Sussex, New Jersey, and Joe Winnie out of Kingston, New Jersey as well.
Tommy Meyer's a regular here, but he's in a different car today. He's in a white number 47X. Kenny Tremont, the defending champion, is outside of row 4 starting 8.
In row 5, it's Donnie Elliott out of Middletown, New York, local town favorite. Bobby Hayes out of Valley Cottage in car 47.
One of the most familiar cars here at the Orange County Fair Speedway is the 00, the Dover brake car, but the driver for the past couple of years has been Bobby Barron. That was, of course, that car was made famous by Buzzy Rudiman. Jerry Higbee, second-generation driver, starts on the outside of row 6.
Former ARCA NASCAR campaigner Jimmy Horton out of Neshannock Station, New Jersey in row 7. Frank Jazombowski out of Middletown, New York, outside in car 10.
Steve Payne, the Hurricane, the man who can lock up Mr. Dirt, his first Mr. Dirt title, can possibly do it here today. He's on the inside of row 8. Last year's rookie of the race, I think, Earl Powell, he came out of the Enduro class to make a great name for himself here last year.
Row number 9, former sportsman standout Tim Hindley out of nearby Monticello, and Ronnie Johnson out of Duanesburg, New York, Jumpin' Jack Johnson's son in the Brian Goway automobile.
Todd Burley, double-duty driver. He races on both dirt and asphalt. He's on the inside of row 2, and John Finley is a rookie. He's outside.
Row 11, Casey Goway out of West Sand Lake, New York. Andy Bacchetti all the way from Massachusetts in 57. He'll be on the pole for the Big Rock race here tomorrow.
Mike Perotti out of Morrisonville, New York, and sits on the inside of row number 12. Outside is another young gun, and this is 17-year-old Frankie Caprera from Watertown.
Row 13, it's Brian Davis and Pat O'Brien out of Elginburg, Ontario, Canada.
One of the greatest names in Orange County motorsports, Ricky. This is Ricky Jr. He's in car 55 today, and Craig Siscone is on the outside, starting in position number 28.
Tony Pace out of Ellenville, New York, and Tom Hindley out of Fair Oaks, New York, make up row 15.
Jake Schlegel is a rookie here. He's on the inside of the 16th row, and Mark Huffcuff, another rookie, starting car number 11 on the outside of row 16.
For number 17, it's Mark Huffcutt out of Pine Bush, New York, and Bill Haley from Kingston, New York.
In the 18th row, we have Dale Plank and Roger Phelps, and it's Jeff Strunk and Randy Sherlock making up row number 19, and Pierre Dagenet falling in at the rear of the pack with car number 124.
Cars are rolling away. We're under sunshine right now, but as you can see, it's an angry-looking fall sky here at Orange County Fair Speedway in Middletown, New York. As we mentioned before, weather isn't a factor right now, but there are a lot of clouds in the area. And just a few moments ago, we had rain at one end of the track and brilliant sunshine everywhere else. It's the hard clay here at Orange County, so we'll just have to wait and see, because if the rain gets on that track, we'll have to watch it. We don't want anybody sliding off into something hard. There's concrete, Gary, on either side of the front and the back stretch here at Orange County. You don't see that on every dirt track.
You don't. It defines the racing surface for sure, and if Andy Fusco's watching, he'll like the idea that our racetrack is defined. The fact that there are walls on the inside and outside, that can be a defining moment for somebody if they get out of shape. Just a moment ago, you saw on your screen cars going down pit road. We talked about the rain that's been a problem here all day. Well, the rain on the racetrack, they'd figured that all out. That racetrack was race ready, or is race ready. But there was a problem on pit road, and they've run cars down there to help sort that situation out. That's car having a problem on pit road, and that will be Randy Sherlock who's driving that car today. So Sherlock in a different car than I've ever seen him in. He had a problem, but apparently they fixed it, and he'll fall in at the rear of the pack. Now that car is pitted way back over in turn number 3 or 4. The pits start in turn 3 and come all the way down to turn 1. We can't see, other than on the camera, what the pit action is up in turns 3 and 4, of course.
There's the hillside area on the back stretch of this racetrack that is a drive-in area. The fans can come into their vehicle up on the terraces out there, can tune into a local transmitter here on the PA, and just like a drive-in movie, watch the races. So we got concrete on the walls here and a drive-in section. This track has been around a long time and got a lot of good innovations as well.
Yeah, and there's the high rent district up on top.
Oh, good.
Great
The
big
penthouse.
motorhomes. Yeah. They all come from all over for the Eastern States weekend, and right now the crowd is standing up and saluting the drivers as they parade by, getting the white flag. That's a beautiful shot of the back straight here at the Orange County Fair. And there's a great shot of this packed grandstand.
Big crowd here at Orange County. This is a very prestigious race. And as we mentioned off the top, and we'll mention it a dozen times at least during the course of this contest, this will decide the 1999 Sunoco Race Fuels Hoosier Tire Mr. Dirt 358 Championship. Steve Payne is your points leader. Danny Johnson running second in points. Pete Bicknell from St. Catharines isn't here. He's not a factor, but the winner of this race in good standing will decide and crown the 358 Mr. Dirt champion this afternoon, Gary.
Yeah, and I think we didn't probably cover this adequately up front. If Payne finishes 16th or better, he has locked out Danny no matter what happens. So Payne's got to ride it out, but he said he's going to go for the win. So we'll see how it all plays out. We'll be watching 27 and 7. Those are the guys going for the championship, but they pay the top 12.
Oh, they're looking pretty, and here we come. The green flag is up, and the Car Quest 150 is off and rumbling at Orange County.
Rumbling off into a cloud of dust and high-o silver, as we used to say a long time ago.
We still say that, Gary.
Okay. There's Bobby Varon in the white 00 working the bottom of the racetrack, and there we see a car getting, oh, that's Brett Hearn. Hearn is a crown, and he's, somebody made minor contact, but that will hurt for sure. The Briosky 20 of Brett Hearn.
Briosky Teo Pro car, and here's Ronnie Johnson In the Coors number 4, he's up against the wall. And what a shame for Brett Hearn. As we mentioned, he won the big block and the small block crowns here this year. He's a 14-time track champion, and he got banged around at Fonda with Danny Johnson in a chase a couple of weeks ago, and he's got some more contact problems here. The Briosky TO Pro car is damaged, and we're very, very early in the CarQuest 150.
In fact, we have completed one lap, but he did not. So that's a problem for Brett the Jet. There, the car is now moving. Sheet metal damage in the rear nerf bar, but all 4 wheels appear to be tracking properly, and he goes by at speed. Now, he's going to have to make a stop because that rear nerf bar is not properly attached, and they'll have to take him down pit road. And as we said, all laps all do count here, except for the final 3. We'll complete on the green, but Hearn will have to make a stop, but he's in the back anyway, so we'll see how that pit action unfolds. He is on pit road, making his way through turns 3 and 4, and then he'll come into our site here on the front straightaway. The Briosky car 20, the Madsden overhead doors, folks. That's a small block Ford. Brett has had horrible luck for the past couple of months with this team. We've got now to the pit road, and Paul Small standing alongside Brett Hearn's car.
Brett pulls the Briosky number 20 in, and they're going to pull the hook and eye attachments that actually attach the rear nerf bar to the main frame rails of the race car. So they've completely removed the rear bumper, and they're sending Brett on his way. Just up pit road, they're checking out the back end of Ronnie Johnson's Coors number 4 machine. The left rear corner of that car is beaten in. The good news is it doesn't look like any of the damage is marking any of the tires, but the bad news is it looks like the rear axle has been dislocated from its position. He might have lost one of the rear radius rods. They have pulled that car behind the wall, guys.
Oh, that's a tough break for Ronnie Johnson. Jack Johnson, who's been one of karts racing legends a long, long time, and all of a sudden Ronnie Johnson's into problems. Here's what happened to Brett Hearn up front, Gary.
Brett Hearn making a move on the inside. That's Scott Flammer on the outside. They simply ran into one another, or so it would appear, and Hearn's car went around, and then everybody scrambling to miss, and there's
Tremont gets by, Horton gets by, yeah.
But somebody didn't get by. That was one of the 47 cars, and I believe that's Hayes in that particular 47. We'll have to check our notes here. We've got 3 cars numbered 47 today, and we'll have a problem sorting out which one is which. But I do know if I check my notes.
One lap is on the board, and the green is up again, and here they come. The restart of the CarQuest 150. Thrilled a bit you're with us here on Rush Hour. And they are puffing through that dust up there because it's awfully high up on the outside, awfully dry up there as well, Gary.
Yeah, that's the problem. The rain has come down, and the chemicals that they put on the track does not react well to rain. It reacts well to the brine salt water that they use, but we have a problem up here, and that is Fuller in car number M1. Timmy Fuller, driver out of Edwards, New York, hired by Bob and Michelle Faust to steer their cars here just a couple of months ago. He's had some great runs, but he comes up a little short here. Now, he's going to fall in at the rear, but he started near the front. In fact, he started up in the number 4 spot, so he'll go to the rear along with Hearn and the others, so we'll see what happens.
Tim Fuller is a pretty happy guy. Just got a contract extension from the Fausts at Syracuse, and he'll drive that car through the 2000 season. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. We're coming back. It's all live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
Seconds of stress in the life of Kenny Bernstein. Kenny's well protected, but what about his engine?
This is a 6,000 horsepower engine. No way will we go down the quarter-mile without Prolong in the crankcase. You need to do it too. Put it in your family car. It's the best.
And now Prolong's on the dirt circuit.
If this product works in the environment that we race in on the dirt circuit, it'll work great in your family car.
Please call 888-241-0779 for the store nearest you.
This dog can't tell the difference between a radiator hose and a bone. Other dogs, perhaps, but not this one. That's why at Advance Auto Parts, it's our job to carry over 1 million parts. So we'll always have the parts you need, just in case you run into this dog, or one like him.
When precision, quality, and speed count, depend on Craftsman. When you need the power of a wrench with the speed of a ratchet, reach for the Craftsman Quick Wrench. The Craftsman Quick Wrench's unique open-end design lets you ratchet around fasteners. There's no need to reposition. Every quick wrench is up to 30% longer than conventional wrenches. That means extra leverage, more torque, and extended reach for tight spaces. Like other Craftsman hand tools, the Quick Wrench is guaranteed forever. Craftsman makes anything possible.
Other dealers say you can't get the car you want at the payment you need. Oh, yes, you can.
Final chance through this Sunday. Special credit test market.
Only at the home is a $3,000 minimum trade.
Save up to $9,000. Plus, millions of dollars available to help you get the financing you need. Buy any vehicle, $49 down.
Oh, yes, you can.
Plus, buy this week and get a family 4-pack of tickets to the Buffalo Blizzard home opener. Final chance through Sunday at 5 p.m.
Only at Lockport's Gambino Ford. Hi, Mom.
They just unleashed them again. Just seconds ago, the green flag has come out to restart the CarQuest Auto Parts 150. Welcome back. The Orange County Fair Speedway, the hard clay, Middletown, New York, Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery, Cowboy Paul Small, Brilliant Sun. There's clouds around the edge. We're not concerned about that right now. The track is dusty, but right now, Danny Johnson out of Rochester, New York, the doctor, has got the field under control. There's your top 10, Gary.
So it's Danny Johnson leading. He started on the pole. Chris Schultz in danger of losing that second spot there. You see the battle. He is Joe Whitty. Battled out. Scott Flammer runs the number 4 spot. Jerry Higbee 5. Jimmy Horton, Bobby Barron, Kenny Tremont, Bobby Hayes, and Tommy Meyer round out the top 10. There's a change in the number 2 spot as Meyer in the black number 55 made a pass on the inside of the black and purple 24 of Schultz. So that'll change that position 2 and 3.
Cajun just joining us. Chris Schultz is the sportsman champion here in Orange County. Stuck a 4-barrel on there, qualified outside of the front row, and is really pedaling hard to keep that car up here in the top 5. 11 of 150 are in the books, and they're all chasing Danny Johnson, who has won this particular event on the Eastern States Weekend, Gary, 3 times.
Danny changed his race place, maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and came down here to run in Orange County on a regular basis, and that set up this Hearn-Danny Johnson deal that made everybody talk about what was going on here in Orange County for so very long. Danny's since gone back to run near home in Canandaigua on Saturday nights. But anyway, he is a legend here. They just love to see him race against Brett Hearn. Right now, Brett Hearn's in the back of the pack, and Danny's up front. He knows his way around here for sure, and he is trying to win this race and hope that Payne has a problem, and with that, Danny could in fact be the Mr. Dirt 358 champion for 1999. But we're a long ways from talking about that. Payne, incidentally, is picking up cars at a great rate. I think he's up to the number 10 spot now. He started back in position number 15, so he's passed 5 cars in the 14 laps we've been here so far this afternoon.
Kenny Tremont, a 3-time winner and our defending Eastern States 358 champion, back in the pack as well, and steadily clicking off positions as he makes his way towards the front if he can. 14 of 150 are gone. 1 racing groove so far. Nobody making a lot of activity on the outside, Gary.
No, they are going to be conservative here in the early going, and that's good news, I would say. There's Schultz running 3rd. Flammer, the other sportsman driver, that purple number 37, running 4. He's being tested by one of the 47s, and that one is Bobby Hayes. Hayes is in the black 47. Meyer is in the white 47, and Higbee's in the yellow 47, and there's the yellow number 7X of Payne, and the white 47 that we just told you about. Again, that's Higbee. So there's Payne making a move on the inside, and he'll pick up the spot. That will now move him to the number 9 position, I believe, either 9 or 10.
Kenny Tremont, Payne is 9th. Kenny Tremont 1 position ahead in 8th. Early observations, trackside. Here's Cowboy Paul Small.
Well, while we were away on commercial break, guys, Brett Hearn brought the Brianski number 20 in for a second pit stop. They took a quick check over at the back end. They also put a splash of fuel in the car. Of course, neither of the pit stops he made will count as his mandatory stops because they did not come past the lap 30 window, so he'll still have to come in and make a mandatory pit stop. You notice that the dust has started to secede a little bit here, and that is because the rubber is starting to lay down on the racetrack. The hairiest part of a daytime race is the first couple of laps when everybody's side by side. The dust comes up, and once you start laying the rubber down, you get a groove worked in. The dust dissipates. Now with a few laps under their belts, the guys are getting into a rhythm here, and we'll see how this race develops.
And I'm certainly thankful that the rubber has come down. I also think it's a matter of some of the moisture coming from up that's built in the base of the track has worked its way up to the top. And boy, that was very, very dangerous here in the early going to that cloud of dust as they raced off into a blind spot in both corners. There's Hearn, the blue and white Brianski number 20, involved in that first lap jingle, and he's about to go a lap down to Danny, and he's doing everything he can do to avoid that. There's Danny Johnson running on the outside in the red and white car. Not that red and white car. Another one will show up here in a moment. And so Hearn's trying to run away and make sure he stays in the lead lap and then hope for a caution, and that would allow him to fall into the back of the pack and get some daylight vision. It's about 30th position that Hearn is running in right now. There you see Danny on the bottom in the yellow and red Sweetener Plus, car number 27. And that's our race leader, Danny Johnson, trying to run down and around Hearn.
We keep our eyes on Brett Hearn and Danny Johnson. Maybe not in this race, maybe. And in the big block race here tomorrow, you'll see it on Rush Hour. After that entanglement they had at Fonda, it resulted in Hearn doing that barrel roll down by the river on the backstretch. And there was a lot of bad blood. We had Hearn hurling mud balls at Danny's car as he went by. There's a lot of competition between these guys, and as long as it's kept within the envelope of sportsmanship, it's very entertaining for the fans. But Hearn is really on it here, trying to gain some ground, but he's back in 30th, and this is not an easy afternoon's worth of work for him.
It certainly isn't, but again, all he's concerned about right now is making sure that he remains in the lead lap. And there he goes around the outside of Roger Phelps. Roger's in the red number 99. An infrequent runner down here. He normally runs up at Utica, Rome, and Fulton, but he's made the trip to Orange County today. Here's a look at our top 5 after 22 of our 150 laps. Danny Johnson, Joe Winnie, Chris Schultz, and Flammer. That's, again, incredible, those two sportsman drivers, Schultz and Flammer. We look back at the second 6 through 10. And Tim Heinle moving into the top 10 now with the number 8H. And there's Payne showing in the number 9 spot.
Heinle has had a good run inside the first 25 laps. The former sportsman competitor, 5th in the Mr. Dirt tally coming into this weekend. So Tim Heinle is charging up well. In that description that we had of Brett Hearn, he was able to click up another 2 positions. He was 30th. He is now 28th. But right now, there's your look at your leader, 3-time winner. Back-to-back in this race, 91-92. For the man they now call, used to be Dr. J. They just call him the Doctor now, out of Rochester. I guess he got a few more letters after his name. Danny Johnson.
Yeah, I call him Daring Dan, the stock car man. He didn't used to like that doctor thing, although I've heard him use it in describing himself. So
we used to call him Danimal at one time.
Yeah, that was not too polite. But
oh, well, I think he kind of liked that one.
We used to call him Dangerous Dan, and then I was informed that it was his little boy that was Dangerous Dan, and Danny's just plain Daring Dan. But he's Dan the man, and he is the man right now. There's Tremont, the defending champion in this race, in red and white, car number 21.
Jimmy Horton in car 30, right ahead of him. Steve Payne in the 7X out of Waterloo. He is still in 9th place. He is our leader in Mr. Dirt points coming into this race. Would he love to add Mr. Dirt to his Super Dirt points title this year?
Yeah, he talked at the top of the show about simply riding this thing out. Now, in the early graphics, we talked about the pit window. After lap 30, they'll make a mandatory stop, and so we're going to watch the action here to see if somebody decides to pit under green here early or wait for a caution. It's very, very questionable if the guys can go the whole 150 laps on a load of fuel. But it is possible, but it's pushing the envelope.
We have seen drivers lose races here running out of fuel, have we not?
Yeah, we have. And but again, it's all a matter of how many green flag laps there are versus caution laps, and how their cars are performing and so forth. So it's a you know, it's a gamble, and that's what racing's all about. So they'll be gambling and showing their cards here shortly. But again, we'll watch. Nobody's taking advantage of. Well, we had those cautions so very, very early. Now Hearn has put a splash of gas in his car. Now there may be a story very, very early. So
that's true.
If that was enough of a splash to carry him on, I don't know. But again, he's got to make a mandatory stop someplace after lap 30, and I think it's before 100. But again, that really the end of the window isn't as important as the front part of it. So, but what is important is it's got to be someplace after lap 30, and so the stops that Hearn has made do not count, as Paul did mention earlier.
Jimmy Horton in the 30. There's Kenny Tremont, our defending and 3-time champion in car 21. Danny Johnson, your leader, just going out of your picture. 29. Coming up to that 30-lap window, Gary Montgomery. So Paul Small will have the whole situation eyeballed down there to see who comes in. Nice battle here. Tremont in the red and white 21. Jimmy Horton in the green and red number 30. Two veterans there putting on a nice show, Gary.
Yeah, and that's Bobby Varon showing just behind them as well. Joe Winnie, car 55, runs second, and Danny Johnson has not been able to open up a great deal of advantage over the Winnie car. That is surprising. But what I'm looking for now is Hearn, and I've lost him.
He's in the dust somewhere out here.
Yeah, okay,
there he is.
Okay,
just by the stripe now, Gary.
Yeah. Now okay. There's about 10 car lengths and 3 cars between Hearn and Danny Johnson. So earlier we showed we had Danny and Hearn in the same frame. So Hearn's been able to get by the lap cars quicker than Danny has, and so now has, as I said, about a 10-car length advantage. But included in that 10-car lengths are 3 race cars, so that's what he's hoping for. Andy Bacchetti in the black number 57, about to be run down, gunned down by Hearn as they race off into turn number 1 and work on lap number 32 now.
31 of 150. You're watching the CarQuest 150. here at Orange County Fair Speedway. Just getting under the Andy Vecchetti, number 57, is our 6-time winner, but he was involved, if you're just joining us, in an early jingle that damaged the back end of that Briosky TO Pro car.
And that's why it's without the rear nerf bar right now. Now, Hearn in the, not in that car. I'm not sure if he drove that car here. We have a car slowing it. That is Earl Paulus in car 4 that's slowing here on the front straightaway, and he'll clear, so we'll stay under green. Anyway, Hearn and Vecchetti went at it every Saturday night here when they ran the 358 cars, and that was about a dozen times this year. So Hearn and Vecchetti know how to do it. There's a shot of our leader, Danny Johnson, as he's caught the back of the pack and trying to gun him down.
A couple of 27 cars. You see Danny Johnson there. There is another Sweeteners Plus Troyer out there, Vic Coffey, but the color scheme is reversed. It's yellow on the front and red on the back. It seems that we've got a number of duplicate numbers out here and color schemes that can confuse you. Danny Johnson, 27J, yellow in the back, red on the front. Up front, easiest way to find him.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody is staying behind each other. Not a whole lot of daring maneuvers out here. And this hard clay, synonymous with Orange County, known as the track of hard clay, is slickening up and becoming pretty shiny and polished out there, and the grip goes away. Bobby Barron gets up on the high side. There's not a lot of grip there. In actual fact, he may be trying to find some up on the loose stuff up high, Gary.
Yeah,
he's got to go anywhere to find some.
He's got to go someplace where the guys in front of him are not, and they're, of course, protecting the bottom. But as Barron goes up high, looking for room around Tremont and Horton, there comes the Hurricane. Steve Payne in his Chrysler-powered TO Pro car. We've not touched upon that today, but Payne is one of the few guys that uses a Chrysler, built by Doug Holmes, who does the machine work, and actually Steve's dad, Don, puts it together. So it's a combination of Finger Lakes machine, that's Doug Holmes' business, and dad power, Don Payne, as he puts them together for his boy to race. And boy, does his boy race.
He sure does, and his dad puts the engines together with a little Mopar power. We were talking about pit stop strategies. The window at lap 30. Down to Cowboy Paul Small with some pit stop observations, Paul.
Right now, there's really no activity on pit road, even though we've been running clean and green for a while, and I think that's because the field is really strung out around this racetrack. Everybody pretty much running single file at their own pace, but they're strung all the way around. For a guy like Danny Johnson to come in and attempt a green flag pit stop right now while they're under green with everybody strung out could be bad news for track position, and of course, anytime you make a green flag stop, you have to worry about the possibility of going down one lap to the lead pace. So far, nobody seems to be willing to take that gamble, even the guys in the back. Everybody looks like they're waiting for the caution flag, and when that happens, you can expect pit road to be an extremely busy place.
Danny Johnson, Joe Winnie, Bobby Hayes, Chris Schultz, Scott Flammer, Horton, Tremont, Steve Payne, Barron, and Tim Heinley, 1 through 10. We're coming up to lap 40 of 150, the CarQuest 150 here in Orange County, and Bobby Barron's going to have to park it behind the wall, Gary.
One of our top 10 cars pulls out. Bobby Barron and the Dave Cruikshank owned Dover Brake car 00. Maynard Perrette and loaned those guys a motor for the weekend, and well, I'm not sure, but I would guess that that's the problem. The tires are all, oh, there's Hearn slow. This is not a planned deal here. So Hearn has a major problem. We're on lap number 40, and Hearn is headed for the pits, and I suspect he'll go right behind the wall. His problems continue.
Wasn't for bad luck, he'd have no luck at all in this small block automobile. He had a terrible weekend at Super Dirt Week in Syracuse with various mechanical problems, and he's behind the wall now, or actually coming down pit road here at Orange County Fair Speedway, his regular track, and his fans are disappointed. You just know that, Gary.
He was having a great run, despite the fact he had a problem. He'd worked himself from the back of the pack when I think we started 33 or 34 cars. He was up to position 23, yep. So he passed about 10 cars, and again, he was staying in front of Danny Johnson. That was his mission, but now he is behind pit wall, and it's all over for Brett here today.
Quickly to Cowboy Paul Small.
Brett Hearn not even hesitating to make a stop at his pit stall. Looks like he suffered some more damage in the back end, guys. Somebody may have gotten into the back end of that car while he was running around the racetrack. Brett has pulled the car behind the wall. Bobby Barron also behind the wall. No activity in the Barron pit either. Both these guys are done for the day.
Yeah, once they go behind the wall, they've lost a lap at least, and so there's no way you're going to win, and those guys are here for the win, so they're not going to do any heroics to try to get them back out.
5/8 of a mile, yeah. If you're pitting or somewhere you're not supposed to be on the racetrack under green, you go down in a hurry. But so far the foot is down and the car is performing perfectly. For that man there, the 27J, the Sweeteners Plus 4-link Troyer under the conduction of Mr. Well, Dan, what do you want to call him?
Daring
Dr.
Dan, the stock
Daring
car man.
Dan, the stock car man. We've decided on it. Danny Johnson, your leader, and looking very, very strong. He's the guy that can knock Steve Payne off that points perch here in Mr. Dirt Tallies.
Not unless Payne has a problem, and that's not happening here so far. Danny's car has all the power that he needs.
Yes.
That's a CC, Frank CC of Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, builds the motors for the Sweeteners Plus team, and Coffey and Carl Myers own AC Speed World, and their engine builder is Frank CC. Not Frank CC, Chuck CC of Dayton, Ohio. And he puts those things together, and so Danny's got all the horses that he needs, but the way the car is handling, you saw him just a moment ago, right down on the bottom, not wasting anything up on top, and so if you can make it stick on the bottom and don't scrub off a lot of speed, it'll work for you, and that's what's going on right now. But here we go back to see this battle that's been going on.
It's a great fight here.
Number of laps. Horton in the yellow and green 30, Tremont in the red and white number 20, Tremont in the red and white 21, and Payne in the 7X battling it out.
6th and 7th position up for grabs with these three veterans really hammered on each other's hardware out here. Horton in the 30, Kenny Tremont in the 21. Big block winner at Syracuse, Eckert 300 winner, our defending race champion here in the Eastern States weekend in the 358 small blocks, and Steve Payne, who just needs to finish 16th or better, and he will add the Mr. Dirt title for small blocks this year to his Super Dirt crown.
He's not being conservative. He's going for an up-front run. And Tim Heinley is the car showing in the screen as well, the fourth car in that particular line. So this is a battle for position. Again, it's Horton, Tremont, Payne, and there's Heinley now making a move on the outside of Payne. But won't be able to get the job done there.
Further thoughts on Bobby Varon and Brett Hearn. Here's Paul Small.
Well, the problem for Bobby Varon and his machine, a transmission going away on the Varon car for Brett Hearn. Guys, the engine went sour, the oldest problem in the book. We've got a caution flag on the speedway here, guys. Starter Kenny Marshall just waving the yellow flag. Not sure what the problem is, but I tell you what, all of a sudden it's like somebody just fired off a gun down here in the pits, and it's, gentlemen, start your pit stops. We should be ready for pit stops here in just a couple of moments.
The scramble will start now, Paul. Get your sneakers on because you're going to be busy down there. We're expecting this. Lap 49 of 150. You've got pit somewhere after lap 30, and this looks like the time when the curtain comes up on pit road, Gary.
This will be it. And get ready, race fans, for the most violent 20 seconds in all of motorsports. They will be wild and exciting. We'll go down to pit road where Paul Small will call the action.
And they are ready to come in here as soon as the pit road opens. It is open. Here's race leader Danny Johnson pulling the Sweeteners Plus 27J into his pit stall. It is a gas-only pit stop, a timed pit stop, about 6.5 seconds. Danny is under motion. The 55 machine rolling by, the Ricky machine going by. He got a good stop. Other contenders coming in. Chris Schultz, our outside pole sitter. He rolls onto pit road with the number 24 machine right directly in front of us. Behind him, Scott Flammer, who's running in the top 5. Kenny Tremont with a good stop. He will be 4th in the order to go back out onto the racetrack. Jerry Higbee with a good stop. Jimmy Horton also getting a good pit stop. Now we get the traffic jam here on the end of pit road. Steve Payne coming through. He's going to come back out about 10th car out of the pits. Everybody else working on their pit stop. Scott Flammer pulling away. Tim Fuller was trying to get to his pit, and he had a little problem angling in because, well, there's heavy traffic on pit road. A quick gas and go stop for Tim Fuller. He is away. Casey Goey is moving away. Jeff Strunk. Practically the entire field, guys, has come in for gas to go pit stops. We've got them tangled and bumping into each other here on pit road. They're 2 and 3 deep. Tom Heinley coming by. Pat O'Brien and Dale Plank had a little bump with Todd Burley. Vic Coffey comes by, and looking out onto the racetrack to see the shakedown as everybody comes down here on the front stretch. Only a couple of guys electing not to pit. Pierre Dagenet coming by the pace car here. Pretty smooth pit stops for everybody there, guys. Didn't see any major problems. Looks like everybody got about 5 seconds worth of gasoline and got back out on the racetrack.
Smooth stops, but pretty jerky on the exit there. We need some New York City police traffic controllers down there. That was completely crazy on the end of that.
That's Bobby Hayes, the number 47, the car that stalled after he did make his stop. And I talked about it being a 20-second stop. Of course, that would if they changed tires, they didn't. So Paul had it right, about a 5-second splash of gas, and Danny Johnson's crew administering that situation perfectly. Joe Winnie, his team got him right out in second. A big loser on that, and I'll have to check the racetrack and see how it all plays out. But as I watched the cars on pit road, yes, I would say that Payne lost a bunch of spots because for whatever reason, yes, he's showing them way back, maybe 20th on the track right now. So
he was 9th at one time, Gary. Yeah,
Payne lost a lot of ground, but Danny went in first and comes out first. Well, not literally first because there are a few cars in front of them that did not make the stop, but of the cars that have made the stop, Danny was the first one out.
Just a splash of fuel with 150 laps on a 5/8 mile clay oval. Tires, unless of course they go flat, don't normally come into the play. So it was just normally a splash of fuel. 22 gallons for these 358 modifieds, the same fuel capacity as a NASCAR Winston Cup stock car, and they stick it in with a dump can in much a similar fashion. There is a look at the Hurricane Steve Payne out of Waterloo, New York, our Mr. Dirt points leader. He was 9th when he came in, and he is back into the pack. He's got a little more traffic to work himself through. 52 of 150. So Steve Payne looked to be, as you say, Gary, came up with a bit of a worse for wear out of that pit stop.
On the flip side of that, if I've got things right, and I'm reasonably certain that I do, Rich Ricky Jr. was the big winner. Now, he started way back in 27th with the red car number 55. He had worked up, I'm not sure how far, maybe to about the 20th spot. I'm sorry, he's a lap down. So I was about to put him making a great stop. It was a great stop, and he lost a lap. So that story is not what I was hoping it was going to be for Rich Ricky Jr.
Kevin Kovac right on top of things as normal. Down the pit row once again, Cowboy Paul Small.
A good stop for Danny Johnson. First guy in, first guy out. Nobody on pit road changing tires. And because these pit stops came a little bit later in the race than normal, I don't think anybody on pit road is going to have to worry about having enough fuel to make the distance. Everybody should be good to go. And man, Danny Johnson is in the driver's seat. Those guys nailed their pit stop perfect.
The car feels real nice to him underneath his seat, too. You know, it's nice and heavy in the back end with all that fuel in there. And he knows he's got all the horsepower he needs. He just nails it, and it takes off like a scalded gander.
He just wishes there wasn't anybody in front of him. Unfortunately, there are a couple laps.
He'll get around him. He'll get around him.
Yeah, but getting around him is the deal. And that's Frankie Cabrera right alongside of Danny. Frankie in the Mannheim Auto Auction, car number FX1. Green is out. We're back at it.
Green flag will turn him loose once again. 54 of 150 laps, and we are moving through this thing lickety-split. Glad to have you along for the ride here on Rush Hour, the CarQuest Auto Parts 150 358 Eastern States Weekend Championship. If you're just joining us, hello, sit down, don't go anywhere. We've got 150 to complete. We're close to about halfway through it. I want to have you around for the end, because at the end of this contest this afternoon, we will crown our 1999 358 Mr. Dirt champion. It all comes down. Andy Bicchetti is slowing in car 57 along the front straightaway, Gary Montgomery.
Yeah, he's slow, but he now has fired the car up, but he's moving very slowly. He will clear, so we'll stay under green. But Bicchetti, what a tough break for him. He was late today. His grandmother passed away earlier in the week. He went to the funeral, came back here and didn't qualify in the heat race, but now the car is stopped, and they are throwing the yellow flag. I'm not sure why, because it would appear, well, yeah, he's off the track, but he's on pit road. So for whatever reason, they've thrown the yellow once again. And that's a great break for Jake Schlegel in car number 37J and the 11 car of Hutcuff as they were about to go a lap down.
More of the story is coming up from the Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship, live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
Tremont rocks the dirt circuit. First ever dirt race at Fulton. Hearn's flip of the year. Cowboy fans, it's all packed into my 2-hour roundup of the entire 99 dirt season. From the crowning of Miss Motorsports through the Advanced Auto Parts Super Dirt Series and the chase for the Mr. Dirt title. Plus my second annual Corrali Awards, the best flips, finishes, and totally waxed stuff. Take it easy. It'll be here just in time for Christmas. Order the 99 Racing Roundup today. Call 1-800-979-DIRT. Makes for a great gift.
You know, I can tell just by looking whether a vehicle's been driven hard or not. This guy's one of my regular customers. Scorched brake rotors, beat up oil pan, probably never takes his foot off the gas. And he trusts me to make sure it performs when he needs it most. So there's only one brand of auto parts I trust, CarQuest. I mean, you never know. Someday, he might need to give me a ride.
CarQuest, the professional choice.
Take 5, guys.
If you're age 50 or older, you cannot be turned down for valuable life insurance from Conseco Direct Life. Just call this toll-free number.
This valuable coverage can be yours for less than 25 cents a day.
Is that true?
Sure is.
And your premium never increases.
It's guaranteed not to.
The premium doesn't go up, but I'll bet the benefits go down little by little every year.
Not true, Marie. It says so right here. The benefit will never reduce because of your age.
Well, then this insurance must be very difficult to get.
Wrong again, Marie. Your acceptance is guaranteed. That is, if you're over 50.
Oh, Mr. Trebek.
Conseco Direct Life, take 1.
Each year, More and more Americans choose life insurance from Conseco Direct Life.
It's the obvious choice.
To find out more, just call this toll-free number.
Call toll-free 1-800-798-8811 to receive this free gift in the mail. That's 1-800-798-8811.
Production support for Rush Hour on Dirt provided by United Rentals. They're one of the largest suppliers of aerial lifts in the country. They extend every effort to get your job done. United Rentals. Welcome back. Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. CarQuest Auto Parts 150. Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery, Cowboy Paul Small, Danny Johnson out of Rochester. Gary has been the story so far today.
Started on the pole. He's led every lap so far, other than the couple of laps where the cars that did not make a pit stop after Danny did stayed on the racetrack. But Danny's been the dominant guy. The green is out. We're back at it, and they're all good trying to come down there. 3 and 4 wide behind them, and that just won't work. But they now sort things out and get single file as they race off into turn 1. Oh, when he goes almost, yeah, oh, there's a crash.
We've got ourselves a big problem up here in the approach to turn number 2. They're like bowling pins out there. Looks like one of the cars is blocked away, and a couple of cars, and Jimmy Horton is involved in car number 30.
So Horton, one of the top 10 cars, and there's Frankie Cabrera, Scott Flammer, car 37. Joe Winnie's the guy who started it all when he went around. Payne, I thought, was involved in the accident, but I can't find his car there. Okay, here's Payne coming around now. And again, he and Horton had been running together, so it makes sense that if Payne was, or if Horton was involved, Payne would have been also. And here's Payne's car crossing the start-finish line right now. Extensive sheet metal damage, but all the wheels are tracking properly, and therefore it would appear that Steve does not have a major problem. But again, 16th. That's the magic number that Payne's looking for.
That's right.
Then Danny can win the thing. Well, Danny is trying to win it. He's doing everything he can do to do that. There we have a couple of, there's major problems. Roger Phelps, the red car at the top of the screen there. And there's Payne trying to sort his out, make sure everything is okay.
Just to make sure the back end hasn't been thrown out of alignment. There's Todd Burley beside him in the Y2K. So you mentioned them going 3-4 wide as they came down for the green flag. They appeared to be funneling down into single file very nicely, but it is slippery as all get out there, Gary. And all of a sudden we had a bunch of cars involved, including Steve Payne. Observations trackside and Cowboy Paul Small.
Just talking to members of Steve Payne's crew who were talking to him on the radio. Steve says the car's not damaged that badly at all. Feels pretty good. He's going to stay out on the racetrack. He doesn't want to lose any more track position than he already has. Looking at the car coming by on the left-hand side. Just a little bit of a crinkle here and there in the sheet metal, a little bend on the back end of the Nerf bar. Pretty much the same thing for Jimmy Horton, just some minor cosmetic damage. I think those guys got lucky.
It's been a physical afternoon out here, hasn't it?
It has, and Paul can't see the side that we can. Of course, our viewers can as well. The right side of Payne's car is all bent up. But again, it's just sheet metal, and that will not make a difference if there's nothing more serious than that.
Looking for sheet metal, too, making contact with tires. That's always the kiss of death after a crash like that, but it appears to be okay. Let's have a look at what triggered this conflagration, Gary.
Well, there we see Winnie getting maybe just a little tap from Jerry Higbee in the yellow car. Winnie's black car goes around, and he almost clears the racetrack, the barrier that you were talking about, the wall on the inside. Yep. And then it was a brake check. Everybody behind him slowing up and getting on their brakes, and then there's Payne taking evasive action going all the way to the bottom. He almost made it, too. Almost made it. He was right down on the exit to the pits, but he did bring the car to a complete stop there, and then they're all passing him, and that's a bad deal.
Steve Payne appears to be intact and no metal contact with the tires. There is the graphic that is all important. To do the math, it's pretty simple. All Payne has to do is finish 16th or better, regardless of what Danny Johnson does, and he'll walk away with the 1999 Sunoco Race Fuels Hoosier Tire Mr. Dirt 358 Championship. It's long-winded, but it's a very prestigious championship. We are green at Orange County Fair Speedway. The CarQuest 150 is back under race speed, back under race conditions. Danny Johnson will lead that dust-filled field down to turns 2 and down the backstretch again.
And they did that 3 wide, and way up on top was Chris Schultz, and he got away with it. Up on top right there, the black car, that's Fuller. That was Fuller. Well, now we go back to the black car, Schultz, the number 24. They both went extremely high through turn 22 and got away with it.
Kenny Tremont is still running strong out there. He is our defending and 3-time winner. Mike Perotti got punted there and almost went all the way around.
Yes, he did. And that's Dale Plank making a move on the inside and getting by. And the white 47 around the outside is Tommy Meyer. And there, further look back in the pack is Pierre Dagenet as he's tagged along the rear bumper now of the Perotti. Adirondack Auto Sales car. George Huddick, way up north in Elizabethtown, New York.
It is in northern New York State.
It's about as far north as you can get.
You go into the river, you go any further north.
I guess so. There's Hindley in the black and white number 8H. He was running in the top 10 before all this pit stop action here. And Patty O'Brien, we haven't talked about Patty at all.
No, we should.
Pat's radiator car out of Kingston, Ontario. Patty, a former champion. And there's
Jimmy Horton. Yeah. Looks like he might be slowing down a little bit. Pat O'Brien out of Elginburg, in actual fact, just outside of Kingston. He was third to his brother Danny in points this year at Cornwall, Ontario Speedway. That's a family and a race team that I really admire. They do a whole lot with a limited budget. They take turns, the two brothers do, on the tours each and every year. Danny had a terrific year this year, winning points championships at Rockville and Cornwall. And Pat O'Brien down here to give it a try. But there is your leader right now. Daring Dan. And the stock car man, as Gary Montgomery insists we use.
Whatever, you can call him anything you want.
Oh, I'll go along with him. Okay, he's got a lot of nicknames, probably more than anybody else in dirt.
He does. He's a very, very popular driver. Well, popular, you either love him or hate him, and there are some that don't respect him, but he's a great racer. Second generation driver. His dad, a former champion, built motors for years and years and years for everybody. Started out building motors for his boys. Then their dad, Milt, is now retired, so the boys have picked up rides elsewhere, and their car owners are using motors other than B&M Speed Shop, as B&M has essentially been out of business for the last 5 or 6 years.
Alan Johnson is involved in this contest. He hasn't had much impact today. Danny is 4 years his junior, but between the two Johnsons, my, what a win list and what a list of accomplishments for that side of the dirt racing family.
Alan is the defending Mr. Dirt 358 champion. In fact, we haven't seen Alan at all here today. He's in Joe Gallo's car number 4. That's that may be him right there.
As a matter of fact, it was. We just had a shot of him there just for a brief second. But Alan Johnson, Dirt's all-time winningest driver, has not been a factor as all that brilliant sunshine. As the camera guys go crazy with the iris levels now, the sun has gone in behind some of those clouds. The brilliant sunshine has gone in behind, but it'll come out just as quickly. So the weather has been changing since we arrived here at Orange County in Middletown, New York. Not that far from New York City, for those who are wondering about the geography. The weather has been cuckoo down here, to say the least.
Not sure I would describe it as cuckoo, but whatever. Not only is this causing the cameramen problems with their irises, as you say, but this is causing the crews problems as well.
Exactly.
They have set their cars up for some kind of racetrack, and they have a different kind of racetrack when the sun is out than they do when the sun is behind the clouds. So depending on what setup they've chosen, this is either working in their favor or against them. And we're going to find out here as this thing winds on. There's, again, Alan Johnson in the red and white car number 4. The white car with yellow trim. Middletown car wash automobile. That's Frankie Jazembowski. He's a legend here at the Orange County Fair Speedway. He's leading Alan as they race down the back straightaway. 73 of the 150 laps are complete.
Joe Winnie has had himself a pretty impressive afternoon. Some thoughts on that story in Cowboy Paul Small.
Well, down in the Joe Winnie pit area, nothing but smiles. Their pit stop went exactly as planned. They spent about 4.5 seconds putting Sunoco Racing gasoline into that car. Their spotters are up on the roof of Frank Hosey's hauler with a bunch of other people getting one of the best views in the house from the infield, tracking Joe's progress as we come up to the halfway point here. That car is running very strong. They're very confident that Joe may get his first victory at Orange County. And boy, what a race to win if you're going to win your first one, to win a CarQuest 150.
Halfway through 150 laps, the flagman's got his cross flags, a little battalion of kids down along the wall with their sets of flags too. You got about 4 or 5 junior flagmen here at Orange County having a lot of fun. They've got their flags crossed as well. We're halfway through it. Danny Johnson, Jerry Higbee, Joe Winnie, and President Kenny Tremont, Tim Hindley, 1 through 5, Gary.
Hindley is really on fire right now. He's in a black and white car that you see running on the outside, going around Winnie. Winnie's in the black 55. Rich Ricky Jr. is in the red 55. So the 55, and there's Winnie telling Ricky that I'm back here. Rick, get out of the way. And while he does that, Hindley makes a move on the inside. So the driver out of Monticello, New York, with a black and white car number 8, has taken over position number 3, I guess, as we are just past the halfway point here in today's 150 lap contest at the Orange County Fair Speedway. That is Hindley going into 3.
It's not necessarily follow leader. Tremont skids way up high looking for some fight there. This track is as slick as I've ever seen it, Gary. There just isn't a lot of grip out there. But when drivers make a little bit of a bobble there, you've got to be like Hindley and dive into the hole, because the holes don't happen and don't open that frequently.
Hindley is really showing something. He's now on the bottom, but he was up on top earlier, so he made some passes getting up to where he is, using the outside lane. He now goes to the bottom, and his car's working reasonably well up there. There's Tremont way up on the outside. He runs in 5. There's Schultz showing in the 24 running 6th. Tremont way up on top, and again, we talked about this earlier as well. You don't necessarily want to run up on the top where there's not a lot of grip, but if the other guys that are racing in front of you are on the bottom, what you going to do? Ride it out? No. You got to go racing. So you go up wherever there's a clear lane, and that's where Tremont is right now. And he is on the gas, hammering around the outside. There is just a little bit of cushion up against the wall, and that'll hold him off and let him run that top group. Yellow, yellow, yellow. We can caution on the Speedway. 79 laps in.
We're going to slow it down. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship from the Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
Don't you be a fool. Order the Racin' Fool collector set from Dirt Motorsports and the Back Alley Boys.
I'm a racing fool. I got dirt in my blood.
You'll get a VHS copy of their hit video and a CD single of the best music on dirt.
When autumn comes, it's off to the Moody Mile. I'm a racing.
Order this television exclusive by calling 1-800-979-DIRT today.
Franklin, New York's Billy Decker put an exclamation point on a dream season.
Jimmy Champagne became the first man to lead the Oswego Classic from start to finish.
Reasons for Richie's crash remain a mystery. The end of an era.
Richard Petty poses after winning the Fonda 200.
We've been around for a while.
You've got to get a Gator. Call now for a special discount on a 1-year subscription.
Hi, welcome to our home. You know, it wasn't that long ago that we had totally given up any idea of ever owning our own home. We just didn't have the money. Then I heard about Foreclosure Bargains magazine.
Foreclosure Bargains, a national monthly magazine featuring thousands of foreclosed homes, townhomes, and condos. You subscribe to the state of your choice, and they show you specific properties in that particular state, county, and city. Foreclosure Bargains magazine can help you find the home of your dreams and save you $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 or more.
We bought this home for $100,000 less than similar homes in our neighborhood, thanks to Foreclosure Bargains magazine.
Get your 3-month subscription to Foreclosure Bargains for just 3 easy monthly payments of $19.95. Also, with your paid subscription, get your free video on how to buy foreclosed properties. And if you buy a home through Foreclosure Bargains, we'll prorate your subscription price. Guaranteed.
Have your credit card ready and call Foreclosure Bargains today.
The official supplier of apparel for the Rush Hour on Dirt crew, provided by Bob Hilbert Sportswear. Bob Hilbert. Get a hold of him on the internet. Call him at 1-610-367-6186. Bob Hilbert. You look good in yours, Gary, I'll tell you that.
I thank Bob and all the folks.
Cedar Ridge Transportation for Rush Hour on Dirt, provided by our friends at Cedar Ridge RV Center, Branchville, New Jersey, longtime supporters of dirt racing. Many thanks to Cedar Ridge RV Center for their dedication to dirt motorsports. Cedar Ridge RV. Down to trackside in Cowboy, Paul Small.
Just checked in with Danny Johnson's crew, and they are all smiles. They're not really concerned about anything, except the 8 car of Tim Hindley. Quote from one of the crew members: "Did you see Hindley pass all those cars on the top of the racetrack?" I think they might be a little worried about Hindley coming up on the outside of them. Danny hasn't even tried to put his car on the top of the racetrack. He has stayed glued to the bottom all afternoon. Just before he went yellow, it was pretty apparent that Hindley was the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, and we had the chance to observe Hindley making a pass on the outside, so very, very impressive in very heavy traffic. His brother has just made a pit stop and is making his way back to the Speedway, so he's not a factor here. That's Tom Hindley, but Tim is a factor. He runs third. There's a lap car showing in the top of the screen as well. That's Ricky in the 55, but it's Danny Johnson out front as we're back to green.
We are back to green. You're watching the CarQuest 150. The Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery down on trackside. It's Cowboy Paul Small. Great to have you with us. 84 of 150 laps. Tremont and a couple of other cars. Hindley get up into the concrete on the outside of the racetrack, Gary.
They did, and there is Tremont staying up there, and I don't think he wants to be up there. He's going to lose a spot. No. Winnie in the black 55, and Tremont battling for position number 4. There's Tremont trying to make it work around the outside. You talked about not being a lot of traction up there. There's not. And Tremont, that did not work. And Schultz, in fact, Schultz will go back around. Well, not quite. Here are the way they're running. Here is the way they're running after 85 laps. It's Danny Johnson out front. Jerry Higbee is second. Tim Heinle is third. Joe Winnie right there. The black 55 is 4. Tremont in the red and white 21 is 5. Schultz in 24 is 6. Frank Jazembowski in car 10 is 7. Alan Johnson in the red and white car number 4 is 8. Patty O'Brien in the red and white number 6 is 9. And Casey Goey rounds out the top 10 unofficially. Dale Plank getting way high there as he moves his nice and easy grocery shop's car around the top of the racetrack. He's in position 11 trying to run down Casey Goey in the Pennzoil number 2.
You always equate Brett Hearn out of Sussex, New Jersey. Brett the Corporate Jet, as he's called, 14-time track champion, 6-time winner of this event in the Eastern States weekend. He got involved in a crash early on and damaged that automobile, the Briosky Tio Pro Car number 20, and eventually had to retire it. It went away. So Danny Johnson's been in control of this with Payne just outside the top 16. Don't forget, that's our calculation off the top of the broadcast. He has to finish 16th or better regardless of what Danny Johnson does. But if the race ended right now, it's 88 of 150. Danny Johnson would win the Mr. Dirt title.
There's another look at the top 10, and Heinley's the guy we're all keeping our eyes on. Black and white car number 8H. Running in position number 3, and being here you see him up on the top of the racetrack where he's made some great moves early on. He's got about a 4-car length deficit to the second place runner. Higbee's in the yellow number 47. Casey Goey, this kid was so impressive at Syracuse.
He sure
he
was.
comes down here and he's impressive as well. He's an impressive driver. We go back to Heinley, the driver out of Monticello in car number 8.
Tim Heinley, former sportsman standout, 5th in the Mr. Dirt tally. Coming in to this weekend, there is the Hurricane, Steve Payne in the yellow with the red numeral number 7. He's the man in charge of it here, just has to finish. We got to say it again because he's the easiest way to look at this whole thing, Gary. 16th or better, and he'll win the 99 Mr. Dirt 358 crown. He's in 17th position right now, as the truck tells me, and he's in a pretty good position here. He's got to get up here and get inside the top 16 because he's already won the 99 Super Dirt Series for 358s. He wants to add the Mr. Dirt to it. But so far, it's just out of reach of the tips of his fingers.
It is, and again, the guy that he's got to hope that has the problem or whatever is Danny, and Payne is now, they're telling us, in the number 16 spot. Now, he has not made a great charge since the problem that he was involved in that little crash earlier.
Not, no.
He came out of that, I think, 23rd, so in the past, you know, whatever that's been, a couple of dozen laps, I guess, he's only picked up about 7 spots, so it's not looking great for the Husqvarna Advanced Lubricant Specialties car number 7X of the Hurricane right now.
Oh, it's tight because if he hung on to the way it is right now at the end, it'd be a 1-point victory in the tally. I think Payne wants a little more breathing room than 1 point, Gary.
Yeah, sure he does.
Just a guess.
Pierre Dagenet is the car directly in front of Steve Payne as they race down the back straightaway. Dagenet operates a stone quarry. That's what basically funds his racing. He also is the promoter at the Idlewild Speedway up in Ontario. You would know about that.
In Quebec.
Quebec, I'm sorry.
Next door.
One of those Canadian provinces.
Oh, it's one of the 10 we have.
10 of them up there.
Oh, we do have 10.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just like U.S. states, Gary. I'm teasing you.
Whatever.
Observations trackside at Cowboy Falls. Paul.
Well, we were talking at the top of the broadcast about the possibility of rain hampering this CarQuest 150. It seems one of the bigger differences weather-wise that we weren't factoring on was the difference between being under sunlight and being under clouds. As the yellow flag comes out here, the air temperature without the sun has dropped a good 10 to 12 degrees. The track gets progressively slicker. When the sun comes out and the track temperature comes up, it seems like that outside lane comes in a little bit better. We'll see what happens here because it looks like we may go in and out of sun and clouds at least a couple of more times before we go the distance here.
Dale Plank out of Homer, New York. And car 77 got turned the wrong way around. Now he's got the direction correct. We're under yellow. Under yellow, slowing things down here at the Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. It's the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
Don't just go to the race. Listen in. Experience it live with a complete scanner package from Racing Electronics. Hear race strategy.
Okay, those are stickers on there, Jeff.
Crucial pit stops.
All right, we can win this thing, guys.
All the key moments. Just ask DW.
If you ever go to one of these races, you ought to get you a scanner and just listen to the conversation. It is constant.
Get your scanner where the pros get theirs. For your free catalog, call Racing Electronics, 1-800-272-7111.
In 100 years, you learn a lot about your customers. You learn that trends come and go, but the act of caring never changes. You learn that virtually everyone will stop to look at a baby. That we should treat customers not how we'd like to be treated, but how we wish people would treat our mothers. And that the best part of our lives can't be put into words. Eckerd, for 100 years.
Right there with you.
Sure, my old job gave me a paycheck, but it didn't give me much else. So I called ITT Tech. I always liked electronics, and with their help, I was able to turn what I like to do into what I'm paid to do. Now I have a job that gives me some real satisfaction, and something I never had before, a real future.
For an informative brochure, call ITT Tech at 1-800-823-6315. That's 1-800-823-6315.
Architectural firms need you. Civil engineers need you. High-tech companies need you. If you know computer-aided drafting, top companies need you today.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-823-6315 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-823-6315, but call now.
Because construction companies need you. City planners need you. Landscape architects need you.
Last week, it happened again. An old racing feud took an extreme turn. Brett the Jet and Dr. J, passions reignited. What will happen when Brett the Jet and Dr. J tangle in the House of Hearn? It's the CarQuest Auto Parts 200, live at 1 p.m. tomorrow on Rush Hour.
I'll tell you what, if you think this afternoon's action is great, you get that feud with Hearn and Danny Johnson percolating in the back of everybody's mind. We've got Danny Johnson right now in the 358 small block modifieds in control of the CarQuest 150. Welcome back. Late in the going here at Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery, Cowboy Paul Small. It has been a classic, dominating performance by this driver, Gary Montgomery.
99 laps in, he started on the pole. He led every lap except a couple when some of the other drivers did not make a pit stop. Here we have a look at our top 15 drivers. Jerry Higbee follows Danny Johnson by about 4 car lengths. Tim Heinle, who's been a rocket here in the middle part of the race. Kenny Tremont, the defending and three-time winner of this race, is 4. Joe Winnie, a great job he's doing today. There's Chris Schultz, who started at the number 2 spot. Hollywood Frank Jazabowski runs in 7. Alan Johnson, Danny's older brother, is 8. Patty O'Brien is 9. And Victor Coffey, and Danny Johnson's other car is in the number 10 spot. Casey Goy doing a great job. Randy Sherlock driving a black number 1 today. We've not talked about Randy. Pierre Dagenet. And then Steve Payne, who's now moved up to 14. Mike Perotti rounds out the top 15 as we are on lap 101.
101 of 150. It has been your classic charge by Danny Johnson on a classic situation on this very, very old racetrack. It's been around a long, long time. 38th annual Eastern States weekend, but it goes back, this track does, to the early 1900s. It started as a horse track. It's had different configurations as an automobile racing facility. It is one of the most challenging and unusual tracks that dirt has on the entire circuit. Look there at Alan Johnson, who is working his way around here, has been in the top 10, started way back. He didn't have a ride until after the heats that we ran as a preliminary this afternoon. He jumps in this car. Again, it just demonstrates the versatility of this guy. He's had a variety of rides this summer, hasn't he, Gary?
He has, and whatever ride he gets into, he makes the most of it. And we talked earlier about the Cedar Ridge folks and the official supplier RVs. That's Joe Barbagallo is the chief honcho there. Well, Joe Barbagallo's family owns this car, and they put Alan in it, as you said, just a few minutes before the start of the race. And right now, Alan runs in the top, wherever he was, top 10, I think it was 8th or something.
Yep, he was.
And we don't really remember this because you don't think about who finishes 4th, but Alan Johnson finished 4th here last year. There's a pass for position as Tremont gets by Higbee to take over the number 3 spot. So Higbee, who's been running up front all day long, falls 1 spot now as Tremont, 3-time champion, last 2 years in a row he's won this thing.
That's right.
He now takes over position number 3. You saw the 2nd place car of Heinle directly in front of him just a moment ago. as they are separated by about 6 or 8 car lengths right now.
R21 Kenny Tremont bringing the neck of that car, throwing it here, there, and everywhere. Danny Johnson continues to lead. Observation from pit row and Cowboy Paul Small.
Once again, we're under cloud cover here at Orange County and watching Danny Johnson and Tim Hindley. They're both getting out of the corners about the same, but it looks like Tim Hindley is carrying a little bit more momentum, especially coming into turn number 1. And he's also got a little bit more chassis transfer. We're talking about the way the car rolls onto the right-hand side going into the corners to weight that right rear tire to get the maximum drive off the corners. Danny's car is kicking a little bit going into turn number 1. Hindley is just driving it in. The car's leaning over and transferring very well. So it looks like Hindley's car may actually be handling a little bit better as we get into the late stages of this race. Whether that'll give him enough to catch Danny and pass him is anybody's guess.
Speaking of a pass, there's a pass right there as Steve Payne picks up a spot as he gets by Dagenet. That'll put him up to the number 13 spot now. So Payne goes to 13 as he gets by Pierre Dagenet. Dagenet again in the 124.
The only Canadian competitor out of here out of Gatineau, Quebec. The only Canadian in the field as far as we know.
No, Patty O'Brien.
Patty O'Brien. I stand corrected. Thank you, Gary Montgomery. Pat O'Brien. And
we should
Pierre
establish
Dagenet.
the fact, Derek, that you are from Toronto, I believe.
Well,
nearby.
Close enough. Niagara Falls where we're living, but the radio show we do is headquartered out of Toronto, but we love coming down here to do this stuff. I mean, Merrittville Speedway is just around the corner from our place, and Dirt Modifieds have been a stalwart of what we do in our interest for a long, long time. Payne, Steve Payne, there's a look at him right there. In the yellow and red 7X, the Hurricane. Well, the wind is spinning pretty good. He's 14th right now. He just has to finish 16th or better, and he'll nab the 99 Mr. Dirt Championship.
And Casey Goey waving out the window to go on by Steve. Oh, that's why. Okay, I was wondering if he was that heads-up a driver. Okay, he was waving a bye because he knew his race day was over. Tough break for Casey Goey out of West Sand Lake, New York, driving his brother Brian's automobile. We'll see Casey tomorrow, I suspect, as well, in the Eastern States 200. A great driver who's just come out here so strong in 1999.
He was impressive at Syracuse. He was impressive until just now when the car decided to lay down and die on him. But Casey Goey has got some terrific results ahead of him, no doubt. 111 of 150 are in the books. At Orange County Fair Speedway, Alan Johnson, we just had a shot of him there a second ago, now running in 6th position. His brother Danny, 4 years his junior, is in command of this contest, the CarQuest Auto Parts 150. This will decide the 1999 Mr. Dirt Championship.
And it's going down to the wire between the Hurricane Steve Payne and Danny Johnson. Payne won the track championship at Black Rock, and Danny won the championship at the Cayuga County Fair Speedway in Weedsport. Then they went to battle in the Super Dirt Series, and Payne came out on top there. He's the champion for 1999. And he's had some good runs in the 358 Mr. Dirt Series. Again, we talked at the top of the show, there's a 9-race series. Interestingly enough, these two drivers, Danny Johnson and Steve Payne, missed a big block Super Dirt Series race at Weedsport back on Labor Day weekend to go off and run in Ontario at Cornwall for a Mr. Dirt 358 race. Payne won that race. Danny had a top 10 finish, and that's the difference between championship and non-championship as far as Mr. Dirt is concerned.
We are yellow once again here at Orange County. The yellow's going to come out and slow him down 150 laps in total. Mike Perotti out of Morrisonville, New York. His car has lost its gusto, and he'll pull it down. 114 of 150 laps complete. And there's some of those junior flank guys that we talked about. You want to know when we're yellow? The sea of yellow fabric goes up in front of the windows up here. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Championship from the Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. Lots more to come, and it's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
This man has been trying to tighten the same nut for 2 hours and 46 minutes. If this goes on much longer, he's liable to explode, taking a whole city block with him. At Advance Auto Parts, it's our job to make his job easier. With the right parts, the right tools, and the right advice, it'd be done by now. And the world would be a little safer for all of us.
Introducing the first Suzuki ATV, available in your choice of manual or automatic transmission. The Quad Runner 500, an all-new Quad Master 500. The choice is yours. Buy a selected Quad Runner and get a super winch for just $49.95 and great financing.
The GMC Jimmy has a full-length steel frame, a 190 horsepower Vortec engine, and tows up to 5,600 pounds. Just what the road needs. Now lease a 2000 Jimmy for around $299 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for lease details.
What do you want from your accountant? Better financial statements, better business and estate planning, the best possible tax results, complete business consulting and tax planning? At DeVita and Tracy, our clients get all that and more. We can install accounting software like QuickBooks and SBT, or entire computer systems that will increase your bottom line and let you keep more of your money. Call DeVita and Tracy, certified public accountants for individuals and businesses, at 691-1100, in Medina at 798-2734.
Accommodations for Rush Hour on Dirt's Eastern States Weekend provided by Howard Johnson's of Middletown. Howard Johnson's is the official hotel of the Orange County Fair Speedway. Call them at 800-446-4656. Howard Johnson's. Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery, Cowboy Paul Small. We have just gone green. The Eastern States Weekend kicks off with the CarQuest 150 358 Small Block Modified Championship. 118 of 150 laps have expired. Danny Johnson, 27J, the Sweeteners, 4-link Troyer automobile, has been the story almost from the get-go. He continues to lead out here, and he doesn't show any signs of making any mistakes. The car is hooked up. You want to use that old cliche.
The car is hooked up. Danny knows his way around this place, and everything is working beautifully for him. There is a shot of Higby putting a lap car, another lap down. There's Winnie in car 55. That's available for the number 4 spot. Higby in the yellow 47 has it. Winnie runs at 5, trying to run down and around. There's Alan Johnson. We've not talked much about Alan. Again, he's in the red and white Barbagallo car, number 4, running 6 now. Brother Danny's up front, and they're not related to Howard Johnson at all, as far as I know.
As far as we know, a couple of raindrops on the lens of the camera. Oh, trackside observations from Paul Small.
We check back in with Danny Johnson's pit crew, and they are not worried at all with this restart with Tim Heinley behind him. They figured Danny's got everything going. It's been real quiet on Danny Johnson's radio today. They haven't had much to say because the car is essentially perfect. Kenny Tremont's crew, they had something to say, which I'm sure probably wasn't too thrilling for Kenny Tremont fans. They don't think they have anything to get up there to match the doctor.
Well, that's unfortunate. The man who won this last year, 2 years in a row, 3 times in his career, doesn't appear to have anything in that number 21 to get up here and challenge Danny Johnson. He has been that good. He's been that dominating. But Kenny Tremont's going to hang in there. Tim Heinley in the 8H running in second place at the moment. Tremont's not going to give up until the last bird is hung, believe me.
No, he certainly won't. And he does a great job. And he is one of the drivers, as Heinley, they built so that they can run on the top and the bottom. Of course, Danny's not had to do that. He's just been leading this thing all day long. But there's Tremont. One thing we should point out, perhaps, is that Tremont does something that most of the other drivers don't do, and that is he hops back and forth between a big block and a small block. Right. A lot of them do that.
That's right.
But not a lot of them hop out of their TO Pro car into a Troyer 4-link car, and that's the case here for Tremont. He drives his cousin Dennis's TO Pro car. That's the car he's driving here, the number 21. He drives his dad's Troyer 4-link in the big block category. So he does double duty in a couple of ways, and right now he rides third, trying to do double duty, get by those 2 guys in front of him. There's Steve Payne again, in the middle of a very, very heavy traffic. He's currently in position number 14, surrounded by cars. There's Vic Coffey directly in front of him, running in the lead lap as well. Schultz, the rookie in this 358 category, who set the world on fire here, you could say, by qualifying second quick. That's right. Still holds on to a top, well, it's just holding on the top 10 now, 11th, I guess, in that number 24.
Just his sportsman car with a little Holly-style 4-pumper on the top of it. And this young man is going to be heard from. Dale Plank is up along that cushion up there. I don't know whether that's by accident or not. He's trying to find some grip, trying to find some room to get around. But the veteran driver out of Homer, New York,
He's trying to find some traction anywhere he can to try and gain positions. Time is ticking away and escaping rapidly. 24 laps to go. That's all of the CarQuest Auto Parts 150. Steve Payne is inside that mathematics window. He is 14th. All he needs to do is finish 16th or better, regardless of what our leader Danny Johnson does, and he will grab the 1999 Sunoco Race Fuels Hoosier Tire Mr. Dirt Championship.
Just in case any of our viewers have turned in late, we've got two races going on here. The race on the racetrack and then the race for the championship. Right. On the racetrack, it's Danny Johnson out front and Steve Payne running it back in the number 11 spot. But Payne looking for his first ever Mr. Dirt title. This would be in the 358 category, but he's not won a big block or championship either, so it would be his first ever Mr. Dirt title. If he can hold on and if he just finishes where he is right now, he'll do it.
Steve Payne, they call him the Hurricane, out of Waterloo, has in the past campaigned Bicknell chassis. He's got a TO Pro car in the room this year. He made the switch, and so far it's working. He's going to try the high side up there in Never Never Land to get away from that traffic down there. It's completely crazy with Danny Johnson and company.
That's not Danny in front of him. Okay, maybe, I'm not sure what you're referring to there, but anyway, that's Coffee.
Coffee in the other one, exactly.
Looks like Danny's car in front of him. Anyway, we got the Hurricane looking for the Mr. Dirt title. The risk of being repetitive. He is the Black Rock Speedway track champion for 1999, and he either won or finished second in every race that he ran there, except one. I said earlier that he finished first or second in one. How could I forget the Super Dirt Series event, where he did not finish in the top, but in fact he didn't even finish the race.
Exactly, yes.
And Danny won that race. So, but Payne went on to win the Super Dirt Series championship with 358 cars, regardless of his poor performance that particular evening at Black Rock. But other than that night, he had a perfect season down at Dundee. We're back up front. There's Joe Winnie being pressured by A.J. Slideways. Alan Johnson. That's the battle for position number 5.
Alan Johnson, the winningest driver in Dirt history, has been annually competitive in big blocks and 358 since he started running back in the 1970s. And there are still a lot of people on pit road, Gary Montgomery, that will tell you, regardless of the win totals, they still believe that Alan Johnson is the best all-around talent this series has. It sets up all kinds of debates for all kinds of beverages in all kinds of living rooms and bars all over the dirt circuit.
Well, we won't debate it, but we certainly will establish that he is a great driver. But there are a number of them as well. And old A.J. Slideways. And again, what makes him great, demonstrates the fact that he's great, is he can hop in and out of various cars.
It's amazing how he can do that.
We talked about earlier how he hopped in this one, had never been in the car before, and hops in it, runs in position 6, and is pressuring Winnie for the number 5 spot.
Regular campaigner at Merrittville Speedway 2 seasons ago. He needed a small block ride, so we jumped in the Mike Maroney hardware and ran up there, and it was terrific to watch him and Pete Bicknell battle for the championship. Alan took it away, then Alan found a ride in 358's downstate, didn't come back, but it was great to have Alan at the Merrittville Speedway for all our Canadian viewers of Rush Hour, to have him there on Canadian soil on each and every Saturday. Traffic for Danny Johnson up ahead here. This is never a good thing. He's trying to hang on to this win here. He's been dominating. We've got smoke out there.
And that's
it is
Steve
Payne. It is Steve Payne.
Smoke.
I thought I saw yellow in behind the white smoke. Steve Payne's engine looks like it may have woofed its cookies, and this is a dramatic turn of events with 16 laps to go in the CarQuest 150.
Not only won't he win the race, but it appears that he will not win the championship. Now, he's going to stay out and let the thing cook if that's what it takes. And maybe it's tire smoke? I don't think so.
I don't think that's tire smoke at all.
It's not.
It's coming from inside the shrouding in the sheet metal there. So there is something very, very sick with the power plant in the Hurricane's engine room, and that is going to turn things over to Danny Johnson leading this race. And Steve Payne looks like he has turned his last few here at Orange County. What a dramatic turn of events, and a terrible, terrible bad luck roll of dice for Steve Payne.
That is certainly bad news. Put his arm up on the interior sheet metal there like he was resting. But again, he'll stay out as long as the car is not leaking fluid on the racetrack and causing for a black flag. Now, there is that concern, however.
They do have the black flag in hand with the flagman here just in case something happens. He's put it back in the flag holder here. So, as you mentioned, as long as he's not leaking fluid, oil, or anything on the racetrack, well, now there's some consultations coming in. So down on pit road, Cowboy Paul Small has more news on the Steve Payne problem.
We're down here in the Steve Payne pit right now. Steve's dad, Don, Darrell Ruggles, who was working on the crew this weekend himself, a former Sportsman Modified campaigner. They're kind of thrashing around here as Steve gets ready perhaps to bring this car onto pit road. Not really sure what's happening yet, but now here comes Steve. He has made his way onto pit road with the number 7X machine. He's got some damage to the right-hand side of the car. And here they are in the pits. They're going to, looks like they're maybe going to pull the bonnet off of the car. They're checking down on the underside. Steve pointing down underneath the car. Sitting now, right now, very calmly behind the wheel, pointing down to the bottom. So apparently there's something in the drivetrain that may be of concern here as the crew scrambles around. They can't afford to lose too much time here in the pits. The Mr. Dirt title hangs in the balance. And guys, anytime they decide to take the cover off the engine, you know this is going to be a long stop. This is not good for the Hurricane Steve Payne.
Cowling comes off the engine. You know it's pretty much curtains, Gary Montgomery. And what a terrible break for the Hurricane Steve Payne in the TO Pro car. The engine started to let go. All he needed to do was pass one more car. He's not going to pass anybody except maybe the hauler.
In fact, he's losing a number of positions, and he'll continue to lose positions as the hood is now off. And a great season has come to an early close, too early as far as Steve Payne is concerned.
Officially a lap down now as the field comes by the starter stand. Now exactly, well, coming up as a matter of fact. We jumped the gun a little bit on that one as the field will come around the next time Steve Payne will officially go a lap down. So it doesn't matter what the math is if the engine's not, or the engine's not going to work and the car isn't there at the end. It doesn't really matter. Danny Johnson out of Rochester, New York, has been the leader since the start of this. And with Hurricane Steve Payne now out of the competition, this will pretty much turn things over to Danny Johnson, who has won this race 3 times, back-to-back 91 and 92. But every once in a while, the luck will come your way. Back down to Cowboy Paul Small.
Well, we figured out what the problem is for the Hurricane Steve Payne. When he pulled in, we took a look at the oil pressure gauge, and it reads 0. No oil pressure on the Payne automobile. Steve has shut the car off. They're going to push the car behind pit wall. What a heartbreak for the Hurricane Steve Payne. Mere moments away from earning his Mr. Dirt 358 title for the first time. And guys, if Danny Johnson wins this race, it looks like this will not be Steve Payne's day. It'll be Danny Johnson's day in the sun instead.
Yes, Paul touched on it, and Kevin Kovac has turned on his computer and has just told us that if Danny Johnson has to win or finish second, so it's not over yet. Danny's got 20-some laps to go, 21 laps to go. So Danny's got to win or finish second now that Payne is out. So the championship isn't over yet, although it's not looking that great for the Hurricane right now.
Danny Johnson cannot finish third. It's either win it or finish in the runner-up spot for him to grab that thing away. So as Steve Payne gets pushed dejectedly behind the wall by the crew, that afternoon comes to a conclusion. We've got to finish this one off for you, folks. 10 laps to go, 150 in total. It has been in control of this man since the start, Gary Montgomery.
Daring Dan, the stock car man. Wheels is Troyer 4-link with a Chuck Cece built Chevrolet between the rails out front. Car is owned by Carl Myers and Ann Coffey. AC Speed World is sponsored by Sweeteners Plus of Lakeville, New York. It has been a dream season for Danny as he picked up the ride during the off-season. Has been with the team since February down to Volusia. They've won a number of races, and it would appear that they're on their way to the Mr. Dirt 358 championship here this afternoon.
358 champion at Cayuga County Speedway, Weedsport, New York. The big block title at Canandaigua Speedway, and Danny Johnson rolling on here in control of this event. And as long as he doesn't finish any lower than third, will grab the 99 Mr. Dirt title. 9 laps to go, and Danny Johnson will swing the number 27 Sweeteners Plus machine down to click off another one. 8 remaining in 150. It has been a terrific show of domination for Danny Johnson this afternoon here at Orange County.
There has been some absolutely great side-by-side racing behind him, but Danny, as you say, has dominated the show, leading every lap, albeit for those couple of laps after the pit stop, this one here today.
Will he be pumped if he wins this, wins the Mr. Dirt, going into the CarQuest 200 Big Block Championship tomorrow? That feud with Brad Hearn is percolating on the back burner, and Danny Johnson and the crew will be pumped if he can grab this thing and take that into the race tomorrow that you will see on Rush Hour. A quick check of the top 10, Gary.
We've got Danny and Hindley running second, Tremont is third, Higbee, and we've got a caution flag out. Caution is on the speedway, and that is Greg Siscone, who has spun his car number 3 over in turn number 2, and that'll slow us down here with 6 to go. So tough break for that young driver, but a good break for Danny Johnson because he'll now get a couple laps here under caution again. Everything but the final 3 counts under yellow. So here's Siscone. with that Castrol GTX car facing the wrong way on a one-way street.
5 laps to go. The caution is out here at Orange County.
Now, you were talking about the adrenaline pumping.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Danny's won a lot of races here and everywhere else.
Absolutely.
And lots of championships.
Yep.
Tim Heinle has won some races, but he's never won anything close to something like this one today. He runs second. He showed us earlier that he's got a lot of car. So he is pumped. He knows what his job is to do. And he knows he's just got 4 laps to do it in when the green flag flies. We're going to complete lap number 146 under yellow right now. They'll be green on 147, so that'll set us up. If they don't have another problem here, we'll go green all the rest of the way. So Heinle will give it everything he's got. Now, he's got Danny in front of him, but last year's champion behind him. So what's it going to be?
With Kenny Tremont, it's a Heinle sandwich. Danny up front, Tremont in behind. And there's a look at Tim Heinle out of Monticello, New York. Not too far from where we're located, and we know that car is quick. We know it's hooked up. If Danny Johnson makes an uncharacteristic stumble, then he will make the most of it, no doubt. But if you're waiting for Danny Johnson to make a mistake, you may be waiting a long time with this much riding with the green flag in hand as they come around slowly here in Orange County. Here come the decibels, up come the RPMs, and we are back underway. 3 laps to go. The last 3 have to be under green. So far, so good. Tremont kicks it up high on the outside, trying to find some grip, some way to propel the number 21 Ford to get by Heinle at any chance at all to catch Danny Johnson up front.
Doesn't look like it's going to work for Tremont. It doesn't look like it's. Oh, we got caution on the Speedway again. Yellow flag flies, and now the lap counter will be frozen.
The lap counter will stall with 2 to go, actually. The number 99 in trouble, Roger Phelps.
Roger Phelps out of Baldwinsville, New York, making an infrequent appearance here at the Orange County Fair Speedway. He ran it for 148 laps, but he won't be around for the finish. Roger, that is.
Danny Johnson has to wait a few more minutes here. Part of the Danny Johnson crew, they've got smiles on their faces. Don't know if Danny's smiling or not. He's got a job to do. He's going to have to finish this race. And if he finishes, or wins obviously, or finishes second, he will take the 99 Mr. Dirt Championship. We mentioned it, Gary, off the top of the show. This decides all the marbles. There is no tomorrow. The big block people have another race on the 30th at Bridgeport Speedway to decide the big block crown. But the small block guys get it all done here. And there is Steve Payne. Not a lot of activity there. What a story. What a story. It's just too bad the mechanics didn't hang up. And no oil pressure in the 7X. And with Tweety Bird on the back, not looking too happy, at least if you can judge what a cartoon is thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Not happy at all. But Steve had a great year, and he did win the Advanced Auto Parts Super Dirt Series Championship. Small consolation, but nevertheless, it pays some money as well. So
Sylvester had the better day.
I thought I saw no oil pressure in the motor.
Yeah, you got it.
So,
be careful, they won't invite you back.
They won't invite me back. I better behave myself here. I'm not an important guy. Danny Johnson, there he is, the Sweeteners Plus. Troyer, 27J, Daring Dan, the stock car man, the doctor, Dr. J.
And there's Heinle.
Oh, boy.
Tight behind him, looking for some kind of mistake, or maybe power his way around the outside. Tremont, we can't count him out yet either. Here we go. We're back at it.
We certainly are. The green is out. Just a couple more to go. Danny Johnson, Tim Heinle, Tremont on the outside. Tremont's got himself a little bit of grip out there. The tires cool down. Now he drops it down into 3rd place. Coming down on the wire here. Heinle drops back. Tremont on the outside, making this a contest for second. That's the race on the track right now. Danny Johnson, 1 lap to go. The white flag is out in Orange County in the Card West. Auto Parts 150 here on rush hour. Tremont will drop back. Heinle in 2nd place. Has anybody got anything for the doctor this afternoon in Orange County? In turn 3, in turn 4. My, oh my, does he make this look simple? He's coming around turn 4, all the way down to the floor. Double checkers. Danny Johnson wins the CarQuest 150 and the 1999 Sunoco Race Fuels Hoosier Tire Mr. Dirt Championship. What an afternoon for the hot shoe out of Rochester, New York. Oxygen, please.
From the pole to the checkered flag. How sweet it is. Danny Johnson in Sweetness Plus. 27J comes across the winner here today.
This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. Danny Johnson's your winner. We'll talk to him when we come back live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
A-Plus Mini Market, your 24-hour ticket to convenience.
Congratulations to Jim Cook of Rochester, New York. He took the ride of his life, and so did 4 of his friends. They won the dirt driving experience by registering at a participating A-Plus Mini Market.
Over 3,000 items. A-Plus Mini Market, 24-hour convenience. Your store, plus more.
4 seconds of stress in the life of Kenny Bernstein. Kenny's well protected, but what about his engine?
This is a 6,000 horsepower engine. No way will we go down the quarter mile without Prolong in the crankcase. You need to do it too. Put it in your family car. It's the best.
And now Prolong's on the dirt circuit.
If this product works in the environment that we race in on the dirt circuit, it'll work great in your family car.
Please call 888-241-0779 for the store nearest you.
Who's the most knowledgeable person in golf? Who's the ultimate expert on all aspects of the game? The Golf Week reader, that's who. If you love golf, you'll love Golf Week. Golf Week covers everything. In-depth stories about the latest tournaments, best players, and latest developments in the golf industry. The entire professional, amateur, collegiate, and international schedules and scores are published every week. Golf Week's 4Caddy gives you all the latest exclusive insider information in the game. Golf Week gives you more complete statistical information than any other golf magazine. This is the magazine for the golfer who lives for the sport. Golf Week has the most respected writers and editors in the world of golf. Their words are what golfers live by. Order Golf Week right now for 2 easy payments of $17.50, and you'll get 26 issues. That's 60% off the cover price. We'll also give you a sleeve of Titleist HP2 Tour golf balls. Golf Week is the definitive golf news magazine. It will make you the most knowledgeable golfer on and off the course.
The Mr. Dirt Motorsports family recognizes the contributions of the local CarQuest Auto Parts stores, their customers, and all dirt racing fans. Thank you for your continued support. The Danny Johnson supporters come away happy. Danny Johnson is the winner of the race, the winner of the championship. He's standing by trackside with our own cowboy, Paul Small.
And Danny Johnson comes out to a huge throng of well-wishers and cheers from the crowd here after a dominating performance to win the 1999 edition of the CarQuest 150. Danny doing the traditional dance up on the roof of the Sweeteners Plus 27J machine. Receiving congratulations from the crew. He is definitely on top of the world, not just on top of his race car. Danny, first off, congratulations. I don't know if there's such a thing as a perfect race. If there was, I think you just ran one.
I tell you, I just had the perfect car. The team is, just worked exceptionally well. The guys got the car prepared. They worked a couple hours this morning just tightening, checking this and that. So, we got ourselves an exceptionally great race car. The guys here in Victory Lane. I got a great sponsor with Sweeteners Plus and ANC Speed World and all the guys in the shop, pitching in their hands, getting us here. And it's exceptionally great feeling to be able to get here, win the race, win the championship, and accomplish what we set out for.
Now, when did you find out that you had won the title? Did they get on the radio and tell you that?
Well, they told me that if I won, Payne had to finish 15th or better, and I seen him blow the engine, and I know what that's like. I've done that, and we've all done that, and it was unfortunate for him that had to happen to him in the race, but we were right there to take advantage of it, and that's what we did.
It didn't seem like you really had to work too hard today. You guys nailed the pit stop perfect. You had great track position when you came out after the pit stop. Didn't seem like you had much to worry about today at all.
Well, we qualified good, and that was the key. We had a good time trial, and the Toyota car just worked exceptionally well. We had the Penske shocks on it, working exceptionally well, getting us through the holes, and the car just hooked up so well. I mean, that's the whole thing. You got to be able to drive the car. The car's got to be able to turn in the corner, go down the straightaway. CC performance with the engine, all them guys. I mean, there's such a so many people that got me here in Victory Lane, the fans that said, hey, good luck today, and so on and so forth. There's so many people out there that, well wishes. So, it's a great thing to be able to get here in Victory Lane.
Congratulations to Danny Johnson, winner of the CarQuest 150 and Mr. Dirt 358 for 1999.
We've got more of the wrap-up, final totals, all kinds of things to talk about, so there's lots more to come. Stay with us. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Champion. Danny Johnson's the man. We're coming back from the Orange County First Speedway, Middletown, New York. It's all live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150.
My dad was really good with his hands.
driving by and tell you whether it needed a tune-up or if the brakes were starting to go. Doctors and lawyers would stop at his garage asking for professional advice. And after school, he'd let me watch him work his magic on cars. More than anyone, he taught me how to earn my customers' trust. Like Dad, I'm proud to be a professional auto technician and proud of the work we do.
CarQuest, the professional choice.
Terrell's potato chips, we sell tapes, one chip at a time. Every chip we make is made with love and care, and it's sad to think it won't last very long, but in the end we know we have to share. We make them one at a time, you eat them till they're gone. Terrell's potato chips, we sell tape, one chip at a time.
Hi, welcome to our home. You know, it wasn't that long ago that we had totally given up any idea of ever owning our own home. We just didn't have the money. Then I heard about Foreclosure Bargains magazine.
Foreclosure Bargains, a national monthly magazine featuring thousands of foreclosed homes, townhomes, and condos. You subscribe to the state of your choice, and they show you specific properties in that particular state, county, and city. Foreclosure Bargains magazine can help you find the home of your dreams and save you $10, $50, $100,000 or more.
We bought this home for $100,000 less than similar homes in our neighborhood, thanks to Foreclosure Bargains magazine.
Get your 3-month subscription to Foreclosure Bargains for just 3 easy monthly payments of $19.95. Also, with your paid subscription, get your free video on how to buy foreclosed properties. And if you buy a home through Foreclosure Bargains, we'll prorate your subscription price. Guaranteed.
Have your credit card ready and call Foreclosure Bargains today.
Welcome back to Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. Eric Thomas, Gary Montgomery, Cowboy Paul Small. There it is. Danny Johnson, Tim Heinley, Kenny Tremont, Jerry Higbee, Joe Winnie. 1 through 5, Danny wins the race, and Mr. Dirt, 4 small blocks for 99.
Danny's older brother, Alan, didn't have a ride at the beginning of the day. He brought it home in the number 6 spot. Randy Sherlock, great run for him. Frank Jezebowski, Dale Plank, Patty O'Brien, wearing the Canadian colors here today for you. And there's another Canadian on the top of the list.
Oh, we're powerful, boys. Pierre Dagenet, Chris Schultz, Vic Coffey, Todd Burley, and Mark Huffet. Down to Paul Small with their second place winner, Tim Heinley. Go ahead, Cowboy.
Tim, what a race.
I can't ask for any more than this.
It was a fantastic run for your car. It seemed like you were doing well when the sun was out. Unfortunately, the sun's not out.
It seemed for us when the sun was out, the track was a little wider. We could use the top of the track and the bottom of the track. We knew all weekend we had a car that longer runs and went faster and faster. So that's what we planned for.
You probably weren't too thrilled with those yellows at the end then.
No, green flag. You know, the more green flag laps we got, the wider we could make the track, the better it was for us. But, hey, I'm very happy to be here. Last year I watched this race on the sideline. The guy that's in front of me, the guy that's behind me, they were shooting first and second. So we did something to put ourselves in the middle of them.
Tim Heinley's real glad he had a ride, and he certainly made it pay off with a second place finish this afternoon.
Started 17th, finishes in second place. A lot of good finishes left in this young man's repertoire. This is the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Eastern States Mr. Dirt Championship from Orange County Fair Speedway, Middletown, New York. Final totals follow briefly. It's live on Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. CarQuest 150. Just released Dirt Sportswear 2000 free catalog. Y2K. Call 1-800-979-DIRT. Sweats, jackets, hats, Dirt Sportswear 2000 free catalog. Call 1-800-979-DIRT.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Delman! Delman to the rescue!
Last sale before wholesale. Through Monday at Sam Del Dodge Isuzu. Hundreds of vehicles up to 60% off original retail. Corsica, 5 for $139 a month. Escort, 5 for $179 a month. Taurus, 5 for $239 a month. It's possibly the last time these vehicles will be offered for sale. Last sale before wholesale. Vehicles up to 60% off. Sam Del Dodge Isuzu.
GMC Jimmy has a full-length steel frame, a 190 horsepower Vortec engine, and tows up to 5,600 pounds. Just what the road needs. Now lease a 2000 Jimmy for around $299 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for lease details.
Rush Hour on Dirt is brought to you in part by Prolong Super Lubricants, no equal in the world. By Racing Electronics, professional race team communication. And by Sunoco A+ Mini Market, your store plus more.
There's a look at the final points. Tight at the beginning of the year, tight at the end. Over Steve Payne, Danny Johnson wins the race and the title by only 8. Pat O'Brien, nice run for the Canadian. Tim Hindley, Pete McNill finished 5th. He wasn't even here. Dale Plank 6th. Quickly down to our 3rd place finisher with Cowboy Paul Small, Kenny Tremont. Cowboy?
Kenny, it wasn't a win today, but a fine 3rd place finish. Looked like the car was solid all day long.
It was. I mean, we've really got a good car and a good team, and you know, we had a great pit stop. Everything went good. You know, it just seemed to be about a 3rd place car, but it ran well. And naturally, if we had something, if we had to do over again, we would have changed a few things here and there. But we're pleased with the way things came out.
So Kenny Tremont nails down a 3rd place finish here this afternoon in the final 358 race of the year.
Kenny Tremont finishing 3rd. Tim Hindley 2nd. Danny Johnson, your winner of the race, the CarQuest 150. He also wins the 1999 Mr. Dirt 358 Championship, Gary.
Danny didn't expect to do that. I don't think when he came in here today, but that's the way it turned out.
You think this was hot? Wait till tomorrow. Well, tell you what. Bridgeport Speedway will wrap it up after we're all done with the big block race tomorrow. And a special announcement as well for the final for Mr. Dirt Modified event October 30th at Bridgeport, New Jersey. Overnight parking for RVs, campers, and trucks will be permitted, so get yourself down there early. They can accommodate you. Talk about tomorrow's race. That's what I was talking about. This was great. 200 tomorrow for the big block side.
Some extra miles, all the heavy hitters, another race on the chase for the Mr. Dirt Championship in the big block category. As you just said, we got another race next week at Bridgeport to settle that one, but it's very, very close. We got 5 drivers contending for the championship there as well.
Danny Johnson and Brett Hearn had that mean go at each other at Fonda. There's a lot of bad feelings between those two teams. Danny wins the 358 side this afternoon. Will that percolate over till tomorrow? You'll want to be with us on Rush Hour. 200 laps here at Orange County. It was hairy for 100.5 here this afternoon. I can't wait for the action tomorrow.
1 o'clock tomorrow, I think.
Exactly. So Danny Johnson, there you look at it now, down on Victory Lane. Danny's had an outstanding year. Kenny Tremont walking by. The dirt on the face tells the story. A dominating performance from the pole. Danny Johnson will bring it home. That'll do it for the CarQuest Auto Parts 358 Modified Mr. Dirt Championship. On behalf of Gary Montgomery, Cowboy Paul Small, Kevin Kovac, our stats magician, and our entire Rush Hour crew, I'm Eric Thomas. Thanks for being with us, and so long, everyone.